What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Prayin and Slayin podcast. My name's Aaron, your host, and today we have our very first ever bear hunting story on the Prayin and Slayin podcast. I'm stoked. I still have not gotten a bear yet in all of my adventures. We were stationed in Montana for 5 years, and I tried, went out, saw a lot of bears, saw grizzly bears, saw chocolate-faced black bears, saw other black bears, but ultimately just never got a ton during the spot and sock spring seasons, and I never saw any in the fall. Lots of bear sign in the fall with the huckleberries and different things like that while I was out chasing other critters, but never had the opportunity to close the distance on a bear. But Kade Davis has. He shot an awesome black bear this spring, and he joins us to tell the story, man. And Kade, he marks the history books also in the Prayin and Slayin world because he officially used the word rip. And if you know what I'm talking about, like out for a rip, you will. Well, as soon as you hear Kade's accent, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But he uses the word rip officially in context on a podcast natively. The best highlight moment I think I've had on the podcast. So let's go out for a rip with Kade Davis and hear an awesome spring black bear story.
So I'm from Canada originally. I was born in Canada.
I could hear it.
So, well, I also live only 7 miles from the border currently, so it's still heavy influx there.
For sure.
But yeah, I was born in BC, grew up kind of in BC, kind of in Montana. We moved to Montana when I was like 7 years old. And then my dad's work took us to Boise, Idaho, and we lived down there for a little bit. And that's actually where I took hunter safety and cut my teeth personally on hunting, was when we were in Idaho, because I was of age at that time. But Idaho hunting is definitely, it was a little different at the time. It was a sea of orange and a lot of mostly just bird hunting in the area we lived in. And I was never, still to this day, I'm not really into bird hunting personally, but nothing against them. I just don't have the patience for it.
What kind of birds? Turkey or like upland grouse, that kind of stuff? Or what?
Like upland, like pheasants, quail.
Oh, no
yeah. Did a lot of rabbit hunting as a kid. So actually the first animal I ever killed was a cottontail rabbit. So, and still to this day, it's the only one I've ever felt like really, really bad about. So,
no kidding. That's awesome.
Well, we made eye contact at like 5 feet, and then I laid the waist to him, and I was like 11, I think. So it was.
Yeah, I could see that. That's wild.
Yeah, but no. And then we went deer hunting and elk hunting. When I was younger than that, where I like really cut my teeth with hunting, my dad was a guide growing up in BC and Alberta, and he would take us in with him in the summertime to cut trails and do all kinds of different backcountry stuff, all off horseback. And then we would go in with him, and I was hunting before I could ever have a hunting license, basically, but we just weren't ever pulling the trigger. But no, I remember doing multiple 2-week wilderness style camps when I was like between the ages of 8 and 12, basically. And then, yeah, we, through his work, he kind of got away from that, and we got put in a different area and everything else. And I knew what that lifestyle was like, and I knew that it was very, very hard, and I wasn't going to dive into it until I got older. That was for sure. So,
for sure.
Yeah, on those aspects of things. But yeah, growing up, sports pretty much consumed my life. I played baseball all the way to university level, and then I dropped out of school. So inadvertently, baseball stopped right there. But yeah, I started working in the oil field after that. Did oil field stuff in Wyoming, northern Alberta. That life took me into like a bartending life. I bartended in like commercial event style bartending for the better part of like 5 years, doing concerts and like huge events. And then I got back into construction because I was tired of working for other people and I've kind of been self-employed ever since. So
That's awesome, man. What kind of construction do you do?
interior finish, renovations, kitchen, bathroom, remodel stuff. Primarily new construction, just pulling subcontracting work for the last few years. Our area has been exploding busy with the hype of Yellowstone. It pretty much ruined Montana, but
Yeah, 100% that and COVID, man. Yeah.
Between that and COVID and everything else, it's just like it's so wild. I can only imagine being one of like the older generation that live here and just seeing like what it went 30, 40 years ago to what it is now. It's just like it's pretty wild. I've seen, even in my lifetime, I've seen like the better part of like 15,000 homes go up in our tiny area that only has a city population of 2,300. So
holy cow, man.
Yeah, we've ran out of land inventory for sale multiple times on the market in our area here. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty crazy to see that, but
100%. And what part of Montana are you in? You said you're 7 miles from the border?
Whitefish area, Kalispell.
Oh, yep. Okay.
So yeah, if you know where that's at, we're actually north of that, Eureka.
Yeah, but I know right where that's at. Yep.
Yeah.
We actually looked at when we were in Great Falls, Montana, and is not a hard place to fall in love with.
No.
And we looked at several properties and several cabins, to try to find a spot just to have a place and a reason to get back there, while we travel, during the rest of my wife's career here. But we actually looked pretty hard at a spot, a cabin in Eureka, actually, and we didn't end up pulling the trigger there. And we found a spot down by or just south of Ennis, Montana, so down towards the Yellowstone side. And yeah, dude, the COVID situation, if I would have I wish I had some sort of analyst in my back pocket that I could have ran stuff by, dude, because holy crap, we put an offer in on a 20-acre parcel, and got accepted. So it was 96,000 listed. We offered 93. The guy said, "Yep, let's do it." 3 or 4 days later, when the bank was doing all their stuff, we got a phone call from our realtor, and they're like, "Hey, got good news and bad news." I'm like, oh, okay, thinking something went wrong with the bank side, and they're like, "Well, the bad news is the guy's pulling the listing off the market." And I'm like, okay, I guess we hadn't signed anything yet, so whatever, I guess that's okay. Yeah. And she goes, "That's the bad news. Do you want the good news?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, you guys, he's going to relist the property at 120,000, but because you guys had an accepted offer, he's willing to sell it to you guys at 96,000 his original asking price." And not knowing, I had no idea what was coming. So I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's shady business, man." There's plenty of land. No, okay. I talked to my wife about it. She's like, "No, that's weird, dude. That's just bad business." And we're Midwest. A handshake means a lot, so it's
oh yeah. Yeah.
Just, now, we'll find another one. That just seems weird. Why? I'm not really sure. Anyway. And then, so long story short, he sells it in 2 weeks for 120,000. I was watching it on Zillow. It goes back up, and it was 180,000. It resells then. It resold at 220,000. I stopped looking when it was resold for $300,000.
Oh yeah, zero development. Yeah, no development.
There was nothing.
No infrastructure. They just people turning it over left, right, and center. Yeah,
dude, worst business decision I ever made.
If I would have been or had a financial advisor in high school, basically, and been able to get a $350,000 loan, you could have went and bought just about every property around here under 20 acres for in that price. I went back and looked for $350,000. Most of those properties are selling for over $350,000 now, and did sell during the COVID rush for all of that. Yeah. It's just holy crap. I would only had to sit on stuff for 8 years to make all that freaking profit.
I know. Yeah.
It's not even that wild. And a $350,000 loan was just a normal home loan, but it was just coming from working in the oil field. It was just I'm never borrowing money ever sort of a thing. And it was just I was
100%.
Yeah. I kick myself all the time.
No. Yeah. It's if you don't know, you don't know. I guess maybe we got to be politicians or something to find out all the insider secrets that are coming down the pike. I don't know. But
I don't think I want to know.
Probably not. It's probably better that we don't.
Yeah.
No, that's
That's nuts, dude. I think it's really cool that the first thing you ever got was a cottontail. The very first animal I ever hunted too. I got a picture of it somewhere. But my grandma had rabbits. For some reason, she didn't like them going under the deck. I don't know, like she said, they were burrowing under there. They weren't hurting anything, but she didn't like it. And so we'd when we got BB guns growing up, we'd like figure out ways to like get under there or send my grandpa's dog under there or something to boot these rabbits out. And they just run around he had like a 3-acre block, and they would run from one corner to the next corner, and you could just chase them basically till you got it shot. And I remember that pretty much the same thing. Like we had shot at this rabbit, that poor thing, like more times than we needed to. And finally it was my turn to shoot. We level up. Like you said, it wasn't a far shot, and it was just like had one eye looking at me. And it was like, once it was done, it was cool. But then we're like, now what? It was like that weird thing. I'm glad it was a rabbit at the end of the day, and then, yeah, that's pretty cool, dude. And then you said you hunted without pulling the trigger, so you guys got to go on a lot of your backcountry side of things and that kind of stuff. I grew up in Iowa, and we did shotgun hunting, and so that was kind of how they always break us in as well. Like it wasn't, we're not going crazy, but you're hiking a lot. You got to go basically with the dudes for 2 years and not carry a gun. So you just got to see what it was all about before they're like, okay, hey, next year you got to carry your gun, you got to actually do some hunting. So. I think there's some value in that too, kind of showing the kids or showing the young guys the ropes, and then saying, okay, here's the work you're going to put in, and now let's add that next element to it.
Oh, definitely, like 100%. Like, there's not a lot of like mentorship anymore. I've noticed, like within like the hunting community and stuff, and it's like for new people to get into it, I can see where there's like a huge daunting aspect of like, oh, I need to have all this gear and I need to have all these things. And like, depending on where you're at, like that's definitely true. Like I just went on a hunt with some buddies from Utah, and honestly, like 3 of them have never been in bear country of any sorts, or like no knowledge of wolves or like nothing. And wandering around with them in the forest was a little bit nerve-wracking. I'll tell you what, like, it was like, I was on DEFCON level 10 sort of a thing. Just like, I hope we don't run into a bear, because this is going to get real interesting sort of a thing. Like,
100%.
But no, there's a certain level of like respect towards like stuff, but like anymore it seems like everybody's so busy with like work and this, that, or the other thing that like by the time dads get even around to passing the information along, like the kid has so many more other hobbies or interests or like things going on that they don't end up getting interested in doing it until they're 24, 25 or later even. And then they're like, well, crap, how do I do this? And unless they got a group of buddies that like does something, either duck hunts or does some sort of hunting or outdoor stuff. Like I lived in Bozeman even for a handful of years, and it's like the amount of people you would meet that were like super outdoorsy, and then you'd start to like bring up hunting or whatever, and they're just like right over their head. They're like, what, you hunt? Like, dude, that's so cool. Like I've always wanted to. Like I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm like, well, you guys got deer hunting over there, you got black bear hunting over there. Like, well, yeah, but like we just like my family never did it. And it was just like, well, you can do it, man. Like one of the first elk I killed down in Bozeman, one of my brother's friends that came to pack us out, he packed out the antlers and everything for us. And I remember Joe bringing that up every single time I saw him for like the next 3 years. Like, dude, remember that time you called me and came and I helped you guys pack out that elk? Like that was like a memory that like was sealed in his brain. And like, I think about stuff like that all the time. Like I was really nerve-wracked for these days hunting with these guys. But like when I thought we saw a black bear and 2 cubs in the morning. We ran into a grizzly bear in the afternoon, and they got a shot off at a bear in that same evening. And from coming from no knowledge of Montana, basically, and experiencing all those things in a 24-hour time span, it's like, that's a pretty life-changing experience. Like,
yeah.
That's just something that like, I don't know, you go hunting for 3 days in Montana, you're going to see that.
Right.
like,
Exactly. It just takes one trip to really break you in 100%.
yeah, no, it does. And it just like, it'll give you, it's a baptism by fire aspect, but like, you're not going to know until you do it. And you're also not going to help anybody learn without going through a little bit of struggle yourself. So like in the teaching aspect of thing, like teaching's not easy. So, and on that level of things, I think it would be good for more people to look at it from a humbler perspective of, holy cow, I do actually have a lot of knowledge and I could pass this on to somebody, instead of like, I know so many people that are like better hunters than me, or like kill more animals or bigger animals than me. And like I've talked to some of them because I've gotten into like the filming aspect of things and just want to like tell stories more than anything. Like not even, I really admire like Brian Call and how he like tells stories with each one of his hunts, sort of a thing. And it's not just all about like killing stuff. It's about the crazy country that they're in or whatever. But so I've been trying to do that same thing, but I talk to these guys and they're just like, absolutely not. Like, no way. I'm not. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to like, why would I've spent my whole life trying to learn all this stuff. Why would I freaking give it out? And then so many people, like in Montana, it's really, really a big thing. It seems like, to hate out-of-staters coming here to hunt. And it's just like, well, you guys are hating the wrong people. You need to hate the game management, because they're the ones selling the tags. Like, don't get mad at seeing the freaking Washington plates or the Oregon plates or like whatever it is. Like, I had a couple like really humbling experiences this last year and bumped into some guys that like were from the Midwest, and they're actually from Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But anyways, first ever Montana deer hunt. Like, I had a terrible instance, freaking shot this deer. He ran over the hill, and like they finished him off and were like beyond stoked about it. And like, he was a one antlered buck because I put a terrible shot on him, but like it put like perspective that I've never even had into it. Like, they were just so thrilled to successfully come hunting. It was the 5th day of their freaking 6-day deer hunt, and they finally got one. And like, where they had parked and hiked into this area, they put in like 4 times more effort than I did to get to where I was at. And like, it was like, no, you guys deserve this. Like, you were doing it. You were out here freaking hunting. Like, I'm glad it went down that way. But then like, to see the social media comments on like sharing that story and stuff, like people I know being like, just ragging on the fact that they're out-of-state hunters and stuff. And it's like, dude, this is the exact problem that like the hunting industry and like us as hunters and stuff have. Like, we're the same people. Like, whether like, so it's like, I've even tried to tell those guys, like, don't even freaking hate them. Like, you got the ability to go other places and do stuff. Just because we live in a land of like plenty, and as a Montana resident, you do get freaking 8 tags in your pocket every year. And it's like, it's so easy to pick up a couple B tags for some does, or like whatever, a B tag for an elk, even for a cow. Like, they're crazy easy to acquire. Like, don't be mad at the people coming here to have those experiences if you don't like the way that the stuff's being managed. So
no, that's a great point, man. I've never heard anybody actually say it that way. You know, it's really easy. I mean, anybody listening, hop on literally any Montana hunting Facebook page and see the one person that says, "Hey, I just drew my first XYZ tag in Montana." Not looking to almost all of them say, not looking to get a spot, but any tips are helpful, right? And all they're looking for is knowledge, because knowledge is a key. And you know, I think anybody, if you're a Montana resident and you're going, if the same opportunity was in another state and you wanted to go from Montana to some other state and you were going to pay, $1,200 to go do that, the odds that you'd want to be successful when you go are going to be pretty damn high. And you're going to be looking for any knowledge you can get, so that way you don't need a $1,200 tag soup compared to staying in your own state for that same hunting window of time that you probably have a limited amount of time to dedicate to your season anyway. So now this huge opportunity you have is going to be the majority maybe of your hunting season, and you're not going to spend time, maybe, and if it's a meat thing, maybe even sacrificing some opportunity to put meat in your freezer or whatever to go just have this experience. And it's in, kind of a unique perspective. We were there for 5 years. So got to the point of feeling like a resident by the time we left. And I adopted a Montana residency while we were there and all that, under the military side of things. But, it's a huge learning curve. Just the first time you go, I remember I think you said a couple of things there, but like it chalks up, the buddy you said that has a core memory now of going and helping you pack out an elk. It's like, I think Stephen Ornella said at one time, like there's two types of fun. One of them, the fun, it sucks while it's happening and you hate every second of it, but then you remember it for the rest of your life, and then you go on a roller coaster one time at Six Flags. Yeah, exactly. You go on a roller coaster and it doesn't matter, right? And and you forget about it the next day, kind of a thing. And so, but the amount of effort that you put into anything, I think, is directly attributed to the amount of space it consumes in your mind of something that happened in your life. Especially if it comes out successfully. It's just that much more of a memory. And then being able to go tell your buddies you hiked this bull out and you've never hunted a day in your life, but it was the craziest experience you ever had. I remember my first my first deer period in Montana. My wife got her first deer ever in Montana. It was a V-tag whitetail. And just to this day, one of the coolest hunts I've ever been on. First time I've ever been on a hunt with somebody else and watched them be successful. So for me, that's like, it happened to be my wife, which is even better, but it was just like, I'll never forget it regardless. And then my goal, I wanted my first animal in Montana to be a mule deer, and a mule deer buck at that. And my mule deer buck was nothing to write home about. He had a spike on one side and a fork on the other. But dude, I went in and I found a spot on Onyx that I'd never seen before, checked out some BLM ground that that was all new to me. Never growing up in Iowa, dude, like public land is less than like 2% of the entire state. So to go to a place like Montana and public land is everywhere, you're like, dude, how do I explore all this in the limited amount of time?
The biggest thing, like people don't leave this state, and so they don't understand that. Like first time I've ever been to like Oklahoma or anywhere out in the Midwest, bought a truck in Oklahoma off auction and drove to Oklahoma and picked it up, sort of a thing. And then we're doing some Google research while we're driving through like Oklahoma and stuff. And it's like, where's the public land in this state? And then it's like, there is none. Like, by the way, there's 1.3% of Oklahoma or whatever is public land. And it's just like, holy crap. Like looking at Montana and stuff. And it's like half of our acreage of public land that we have to hunt is the size of Oklahoma, the whole state. So it's just like, to put it into perspective for people that like live here, it's like you got all these people that and they literally have nothing. Like if you don't know somebody or you don't pay somebody to be able to access their property or whatever it is, it's like they don't have it. They don't have the property to be able to even go wander around on. And it's like, it's really eye-opening when you actually get out there and see that firsthand versus like you kind of live in your little Montana bubble and you never leave the state. You drive 2 hours or you drive to Missoula or Butte or wherever, and you exist in this ecosystem that is one of the greatest places that the U.S. has to offer. And it's like, you don't see the struggle that all these other places have to be able and go and have these experiences. And it's just like, people that are residents here could drastically improve their mindsets with like adapting that. And when they bump into a non-resident or somebody that's out here that's just like maybe their first time, second time or whatever, like don't get mad because they followed you in on the trail. Like be like, hey, I didn't see anything up this draw. Maybe if you go up further, here's where I went, sort of a thing. I just turned around and came back. Instead of being mad about it, just share a little bit of information. Like you don't know who you're going to meet in the forest. Like you might run into somebody who's freaking videos you watch on YouTube. You might, like, who knows what, like you might run into some famous person out there walking around. Like if you're just mad because they got the wrong plates on their vehicle, then you're only hurting yourself. So
you are. Yeah. I think there's a huge aspect to that. Just the life perspective, the more time you spend in a positive headspace and understand that, like you said, we're all human, we're all doing the same thing. And that person is literally you with a different license plates on their truck. So the fact that you'd be mad at them for being another human is kind of odd. But on the the big picture there, you do never know who you're going to run into. So that's one aspect. I was out every year. So I shot my first mule deer on a piece of block management north of Great Falls, or BLM north of Great Falls. And every year I had to go check it out because it was like one of these weird spots that there was always mule deer does there, but then there was always a handful of bucks and different things. But when the rut came, man, like every year I ran into a bigger and bigger buck. And I have a story to tell with every one of them, even though I got 2 bucks on there. My very first deer I ever shot in Montana, my very last deer I shot in Montana. My last one was like 150 inches, the biggest mule deer I ended up encountering and making a successful shot on. But either way, out there were several times where I'd run into different people, and it's not like it's a big area as it lays out over the course of several miles. But the spot I actually hunted was like, I don't know, probably like 500 total acres, maybe, like just kind of the way it zigzags through and how you have to work it. And it's a big coulee system. So you just kind of never know what you're going to run into. But anyway, long story short is on this who you're going to run into situation. The second year or third year, I was trying to fill my buck tag. So I went out there. I had an evening after work. I just buzzed out there real quick, went to go hunt it. I was super bummed. There was another truck there, but I didn't know where the guy was. And I'm like, well, like there's just as good a chance he went and hunted the spot that I never hunt as the spot that I'm hunting. So I'm going to go in. I don't see him. If I run into him, most likely I'll see him several hundred yards off. I'll back out and we'll make a trip of it. I never saw him the whole time I hunted. Didn't see any deer either. So maybe he'd already pushed it. I'm not sure. I pop up on this ridge as the sun's setting, and I see this orange vest on the next ridge over, like between me and the trucks. And all the deer were coming off the private. I was like, oh, they've been on the private already today. Instead of being in the public first, they're coming in off these ag fields. So they come in. I watch this whole hunt play out, and I have my spotting scope, and I'm literally just watching this dude do his hunt. And I'm sitting there. I have no chance at a deer, but I'm just enjoying it. Like, this is cool, you know.
I've been there before. It's actually a really cool experience to sit there and watch somebody through your spotter, and you're just like, you feel a little bit creepy, but you're just like, oh man, I hope he gets it. Like, come on, you can do it. You're
kind of like you're doing the play-by-play exactly, and he had no idea I was back there because I'm way 2 coulees over from him. And anyway, I see him get all set up, and I'm trying to. It's a little too, like, from my angle, the way the sun was, it was tough to make out the antlers on the bucks and but there were several in there, and they kind of drop down in this ditch, and they start popping up one by one, and he's got to be like 100 yards from him. And I'm like, this is sweet, dude. Like, he's got to make it happen. My heart starts pounding. I'm like, oh, here we go. Just like watching it on TV. Yeah. And anyway, all of a sudden, one of them pops up. He must have stopped them because every one of them whipped their head and looked right at him. He pulls the trigger, bang, buck drops or deer drops. And I'm like, no freaking way, dude. That was so awesome. So anyway, I let him, they'll let the deer run off. I watch him kind of pack his gear. He heads over. So I book it. I'm like, let's go talk to him and see, congratulate him, whatever. I get up there, and the dude, I start talking to the guy. He had forgotten he'd never gutted a deer before. This was his first hunt ever. Like, he'd never hunted a deer. He got into it because he had some buddies at his shop. He worked on base in Great Falls. He was an airman. And I'm like, oh, sick, man. Like, my wife's in the Air Force. I'm former Air Force. Like, I can guide you through this. Like, what do you need to know? And literally, I gutted his deer for him, just walked him through step by step, showed him all the stuff, how to do it. In the meantime, he ran to his Subaru, got his tarp. Like, he was going to take the deer whole. I'm like, you don't want to pack this out? I have game bags you can have, man. I'm sure I'll see you on base, He's like, no, I'll bring it home. I want to hang it in the garage. I got some buddies that are going to come over and help me cut it up. I'm like, okay. So anyway, we load this thing up and shake hands. He gets my name, I get his. Fast forward like 2 months later, somehow my wife crosses paths with him at work, and she's in the medical side. So he was at the doctor's office. My wife interacts with him somehow. He sees her last name on her name tag and goes, Stonehawker. He goes, what's your husband's name? She goes, his name's Aaron. Like, kind of a weird question to get asked, like I'm just a civilian on base at the time. Yeah. And she goes, your husband helped me gut my first deer, and he was there when I got it. I'm like, it was a full circle moment. And she came home and told me this, and I was like, how sick is that, man? Like, you end up crossing paths with somebody, you just never know. And obviously that's a kind of a tighter knit community, but still, you just never know who you're going to help and who they're going to cross paths with. And the other thing with all that is, like, the people, if you're a resident and you have the entire hunting season to get it done, like, yes, we all work full-time jobs. Yes, we all have limitations. But the reality is you're going to have weekend after weekend or Monday after Monday or whatever it is to get out there and go chase. And the people coming in from out of state, dude, they're there for a limited time. It might be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It might be a week, whatever. But they're going to put in that week. Most likely they're going to stick to one spot because that's all they know. and they're going to move on. But, you as a resident, you do have the opportunity to say, okay, hey, unfortunately, the spot's got 5 trucks parked in it from North Dakota today. I guess, guess what? I have plan, B through Z on my bucket list that I can just go take off and go find. And
Exactly.
you also have those
Yeah.
8 tags in your pocket. So, hey, let me hit the next unit over and go, maybe today I'm going to try filling my B tag for mule deer.
Or it's like, today I was going mule deer hunting and, oh, look at all these people. Now, okay, looks like I'm elk hunting today, or like vice versa. It's like, I don't know. I get asked all the time by people. They're like, oh, what'd you go out hunting for? And it's like, well, whatever I saw, kind of. It's like, I have 5 tags in my pocket and the season's open on all of them. So it's like,
100%. You never have time for it all.
No, and that's just it. It's like, and that's some of these guys, that's like you just said, it's like they just have a mule deer tag, or they just have a black bear tag in their pocket, or they're just here for those 3-4 days. And it's like, sometimes they don't even have the ability, like, to, if they shot something on that last day and they put in all their effort and freaking search for it till midnight or whatever, it's like some people's jobs don't take a call like that. Like, hey, I shot an animal and I need to be doing this sort of a thing. Like, they're just gonna be like, no, you need to be here. And like, people they don't have the luxury like we do being residents here, and being able to be like, I don't know a boss here come hunting season that if you called him like, hey dude, I saw something huge, you ran across the road in front of me, like, guess what? He's going to be like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, no questions asked. It's the culture around here versus, these guys drove from Tennessee and they're here for 3 days and there's 5 guys and only one of them has a freaking tag. Like, there might be 3-4 trucks from out of state or whatever, but guess what? They're all hunting one elk. Like, I've seen that so many times, like, especially when you get down by like Dillon or like these spots and like semi blown up by like all these various influencers. And it's just like, these guys have called all their buddies, all their college roommates, all their whoever, like, and they're going on the elk hunt. They're going on the mule deer hunt. And for some of them, they'll never ever draw the tag. Like, they'll never ever put in for the tag because it's not feasible financially for them or whatever. But guess what? Going camping for 5 days while somebody else is trying to fill a tag, that's totally feasible for a lot of people. Like, that's not out of reach for most people when it comes down to it. So I think, like, I don't know. I've come to different terms with having a different attitude when I'm out there. That's for sure. And like, really trying to make sure I'm helping people versus burden them in any sort of way. So,
I love that, man. And I think it comes down at the end of the day, on a personal level, to just being grateful for the opportunities you have and focusing on I think we could all do a little bit better job of focusing on us and being the best version of ourselves and making sure we maximize our own opportunities instead of, trying to find the one negative thing that you can find to say about someone else's opportunity or someone else's circumstance or whatever it happens to be. And I think we're coached into that, a lot of that, with just media and everything else we have, unfortunate, too much access to
societal values and stuff. It's just like, we could go off into some really deep stuff there on those sorts of topics, but it's like,
welcome to the Prayin and Slayin philosophy podcast.
No, I don't know. There's a lot of things, like, there's just a lot of things that are built into our society that don't reflect like a wholesome value, whether it be like the weight that we carry on, like, or the weight we carry on experiences in Mother Nature versus frickin' data centers or selling the land or like whatever the next stupid thing is that's on the chopping block. It's just like, if more people were out there having these experiences, guess what? There's more people that are going to be pushing back against all this. And it's like, the reason they can even make progress in any sort of way on any of this stuff is because society has most people trapped in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and just doing the bare minimum to get by, and we're so disconnected from our food, from Mother Nature, from like everything. And like it's no fault of anybody's at this point because it's been going on for so long. It's just like, you look at I don't know, I don't even know what it's called, Central Park in frickin' New York or whatever. It's like New York's an old city. It's like they've been trying to mimic Mother Nature in that space for how long? Like, and give people that live in that environment just some sort of release in any way, shape, or form in that aspect. And yeah, I see that more and more disappearing with like the development that's going on across like Montana and all these places, and the push for these data centers. And it's just like, it seems like it's just never ending as far as progress in the wrong direction, and holding people back any way they can, or any way. And it's like, I don't feel lots of time knowing like some of these people that are trying to like go into positions. It's just like, I don't feel like they've got bad intentions when it starts out, but it's like, neither does the good cop, neither does the awesome teacher, neither does there's so many other things. And then it's just like 2 or 3 bad seeds make the whole garden go to shit. And it's just like, pardon my language, but it's just, seems to be like where we're at with the world currently, and it's kind of sucks. But
man,
I feel bad for a lot of people. Like every time I'm freaking at the grocery store and I see somebody over 60 years old just like really looking at their grocery list and checking the price on stuff, and like going in and prepaying for $20 and fuel in cash instead of just putting their card in and filling it up. Like I notice those things every day, and it's just like, it breaks my heart lots of times to see it, because it's just like people are struggling so bad, and you got whoever over here like wanting to flaunt this, that thing, or I'm doing good and look at me and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, no, just take a step back and try to see how blessed you are, and then pass some of that along. So, because
100%, dude.
There's a lot. Like I just, like I said, I see people hurting every day, and it sucks. So, and it's like, especially in a place that's like thriving economically, it's just like everything's so expensive anymore that it's like you can be making a good wage and you still have to budget right down to every nickel and dime sort of a thing. And it's just like, it's crazy.
No, it really is, dude. 100%. Yeah. And but like you said, that's a whole podcast in itself for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but like you said, the product of the system, I think that weighs the heaviest is, and probably impacts these opportunities we're talking about with hunting. And, you know, the guy that is that North Dakota plate or Wisconsin plate or whatever, there's groups that come out every year, and obviously I would say they're doing well for themselves if they can afford to hunt Montana every year. And that's awesome. But man, like the amount of people who like they've saved for 5 years, and that's like the one time they're busting $1,200 plus gas, plus travel, plus hotel, plus whatever to get their butts up there and make this elk dream happen that they've had since they were a little kid. Or, you know, that's the other reality here is it's not like they're coming and taking anything from you, dude. Like they've sacrificed for a long time probably, or they're making a big sacrifice that year to try to just have an experience and make it happen. And
it's not just Montana. It's
no,
lots
definitely
of states. Like it's definitely something that's like all the way across the board. It's like, I don't want to.
It's harder and harder to do, man.
I don't want Montana guys to feel attacked here, but it's like, it's kind of
no, definitely not. It's easy to see because it's such a popular state for people to come in and dream of. You know, dude, when I saw Montana pop up on the list of options that we could go to the Air Force, I didn't know what my wife would think about it, but I'm like, that's got to be our number one. Like, I don't care.
You're like, I'm moving there.
I'm going whether you're going or not. Yeah, 100%, dude. And then she called me the day she called me and said that's where we were going. I about did a backflip. I'm like, no freaking way, dude. Like, and getting paid to be there kind of a thing too, right? So it's just like, holy cow, dream come true.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, man, like I think we're all in the same boat as, all of us are blue collar Americans. And the kind of the whole point of this podcast is you don't have to be a celebrity to be here. I'll be surprised if we ever get any celebrities on this podcast. I'm not aiming at it, but it may happen. But that's the whole point, man. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think the best celebrities ever were trying to be celebrities in the first place. I think a lot of
the best ones, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So it's like, and I think if you were to ask some of those guys, I bet that in a heartbeat they would just be like, "Yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about?" But those are
talking hunting, man.
A dime a dozen sort of a thing anymore, and they're not a dime a dozen. They're a needle in a haystack. So it's like it's hard to find people like that are not let their ego or whatever go to their head over time. So I don't know how many people I frickin' have followed or like really liked them 10 years ago. And over time, it's just like, dude, would you shut up about this, that? Oh my gosh. It's like, it gets to a point where it's just like, just silence. Silence is nice after a while. You don't have to constantly be throwing stuff in people's faces 24/7. Like just quit pushing 100%. Products, quit doing this, quit doing that. Like,
well, there's the old school, I'd say old school. So I'm a 90s kid, and I kind of taught myself how to hunt through watching hunting TV back in the day. And there was a point in time where we had Dish Network, and the Sportsman channel was part of that package, and I found it through there. And I mean, I could tell you on any day of the week, like this show is going to be on at this time in this window, because I was just like that obsessed with it. But it was my source of information for something that I really kind of got myself into. And a lot of it, dude, I can still tell you, I know for a fact, gold tip arrows were the arrows I had to have. Matthews switchback was the best bow on the market. I remember the big Z across the mountain, like getting burned in the mountain ads. And Muzzy broadheads, dude. Like those, as a bow hunter, I knew I had to have those things. And I had gold tip arrows. I had Muzzy broadheads because they were economical. Switchback was out of my price range, so I ended up with a different bow. But it used to be about that, and that was just kind of part of. I don't think we noticed it as much. I
was born in the 90s too. I had the exact same upbringing. Like just, you had the Outdoors channel, and you just watched it, and you watched Eastman's Outdoors, and you watched freaking all these other guys doing their thing, Lee and Tiffany, and like all these other random people. And you're like, man, it'd be so cool to do that. It'd be so cool. Like, And now like through YouTube, it is pretty like accessible for a lot of people to be able to go do that. It's like, if you got a little bit of skill and you can tell a story, or you can do X, Y, or Z, like, there's a lot more branches open to you. There's a lot of outfitters changing hands to a younger generation that are doing X, Y, or Z. There's a lot of things going on in the outdoors world as far as like having an entry point into it. If you want that, if you want to chase that, if you want to do that. So, like,
well, 100%. And I think so it used to be like the products were all intermixed, but I think the number of brands and competitors were probably a little bit smaller at the time, or there was a few serious brands in every category. The rest of them were like kind of trying to make it, but now there's enough space and things got enough as popular. So, and everybody's got a different opinion on what the best of the best is. And now, like you said, you just see so many channels, especially in the TV side of things, like the actual like TV influencers or whatever, the TV shows, like they are scraping by just to make network airtime payments, right? So that's why you see the product chasing all the time. Yeah. And I always would get a laugh at when I got into the industry, working in the outdoor space and product companies and stuff. I used to always kind of giggle once you start recognizing certain things. So like you'd have a TV show, and they'd have a Burris scope, or that's a bad example, they're higher end, but like a random other company scope, but they're sponsored by Vortex Optics. And you're like, wait a minute, he just shot that deer, and I know for a fact that was a Burris scope. Like, wait, how is that happening? But it's just because Vortex is the company that wrote up a check that year. But, oh, by the way, they're using all last year's footage, so it's kind of irrelevant. And there's a whole behind the scenes that goes into all that, right?
Yeah.
And then now, like you said, YouTube opened the door, I think, to the storytelling. The storyteller is kind of king in YouTube, I find. The guys that have good channel. You mentioned Brian Call. Like, my boy, my 4-year-old, he loves hunting. I'm crossing my fingers he maintains that till he's old enough to actually go with me. But like, he's kind of obsessed with it, and it's just a product of. We have bow targets in the backyard. He watches dad shoots bows. He wants to shoot bows. I was always curious when we were like trying to have kids and stuff. I'm like, man, like how am I going to get him into hunting? Because I love it so much, you know, and my dad likes to go, but he honestly went hunting more after I got into it just because I liked it, you know, and so that's like a tradition that I kind of want to maintain as me loving it so much. And he's picked it up purely organically. It's just been a product of him seeing me do something, he wants to do it. And that kind of thing.
All it takes. It just takes a little bit of exposure.
It does. So. And you mentioned that earlier, you know, the dads being caught up with, you know, just having to work 24/7 to make ends meet. You know, that might be part of, you know, some of the decline over time of, you know, younger onset hunters and things maybe, or the traditions being passed. And I like right now we're like, my dad used to always say like, oh yeah, I went hunting until like I had kids, or like my uncles would say the same thing. We used to do a lot of XYZ fishing, hunting, whatever, but then, you know, then we had kids and whatever. And I was just like, I'll never be that guy. But the next thing you know, you're like, you got a 1-year-old at home and you're like, you can't get out of the house and go do it. Now we've got a second one here. And like the 4-year-old, he's at the age now where like him and I could go beat bush, dude, and we could go. And oh, by the way, we've got this newborn that, never mind.
So it's definitely. I got 2 little ones too. Like I got a 3 and a 2-year-old, and they're only 14 months apart. And it definitely like,
oh wow,
they're both like addicted to it, but it's solely through exposure through myself and like my own addiction. And it's just like, only stuff I watch on TV is hunting related sort of a thing. Like, and I don't watch anything Hollywood wise. Like for a long time, me and my wife just like didn't have TV and didn't put a TV in our house. And it's just like so peaceful and so awesome, like to just eliminate that from your life. But no, like with kids, it's almost impossible to entertain 2 small boys without some sort of bright lights and flashing. It's just like between that and or like a wilderness for them to just like run into. And unfortunately, we don't live next to a national forest or anything for them to do that. But no, they definitely pick up a lot more than you would think from just like seeing your interests. And it's like I think about it all the time, like when I was little, and it's just like I wanted to be just like my dad. It's like, and the whole entire time you're saying it when you're little, you don't fully understand the person that your dad is. You just see the best parts of him through your eyes.
100%.
And whatever that is, it could be hunting, it could be the way they work, it could be the way they play catch with you, or like whatever it is as a little kid that you like grow to find admirable about your dad. But like it's all through exposure and your dad just being like present and being there and in the moment and like participating in that activity with you. And I recognized that before I ever even like became a dad. And so I was like, I feel like I had a jump start on it. It's like, okay, if we're going to do this, it's like, we just need to include them. We just need to do it. Like, it's going to be hard. It's going to suck. Like, I don't know how many miles I packed literal babies around in the Osprey back carrier shed hunting and doing stuff like can't even talk. McCoy, I had him out there before he could ever like walk or crawl, basically. Like, he was 4 or 5 months old and we're out there kicking browns, sort of a thing. It's just like, I found, not to get like weirdly spiritual about it, but it was like, I found when I would go out by myself and like try to get a break from the chaos of the family or like the whatever, I'd strike out. I would like come back. I would get frustrated, I'd get frustrated doing whatever I was doing. And like, I wasn't like bettering myself doing what I was trying to do out there. And every single time I would bring the kids, God would just be like, oh, hey, check this set out. Check out this freaking deadhead. Check out this. Check that out. And it was just like, it finally got to a point where it's just like, God works in coincidences, sort of a thing. And it's like, there is no coincidence happening here. It's like every single time I bring you guys, it's like we find stuff. Every single time I leave you guys at home and I just try to go do whatever or just like take the dogs out, it's like we don't find anything. So it's like, okay. And then, over time, they've just been like It's funny. Anytime I'm leaving the house, my littlest one, McCoy, he'll ask me if I'm going hunting. It's like, no, dude, I'm going to work. And he's like, why? Why are you going to work? And it's just like,
Yep.
and he every time we see an animal out driving down the road or whatever, it's a deer, and my wife will be like, oh, look, guys, a deer. And he'll just be like, Daddy, shoot him. And it's like, no, McCoy, not yet.
There's a season for that.
Season for that. It's like, that one's a no. We're gonna, like, you're just so, but no, it's like, I don't know. I don't try to like force it down their throats or anything, but it's just part of our life. And so it becomes part of their life. And it was like, it definitely, my dad doing it when I was growing up, that was what instilled so much desire in me. Like, even as I progressing my own way, and it was just like, oh, my dad went to like these places and had all these crazy experiences, and like back in the late 80s was filming TV shows and doing X, Y, or Z, like with a big old camcorder and VHS tapes. And like, I watched some of their old goat videos and stuff, and it's like, they are rough to watch. Like, the audio is terrible. You never see anything as far as the shots go. Like, they're terrible films, but it was just like, that was top of the line equipment back then. And it was just like, those films were top notch, sort of a thing. It's just like the early Jim Shockey stuff is like the same era that like he was in. And yeah, I don't know. I had all these dreams, visions of what like hunting could be if you just like put your head down and learned how to not die in the forest, and you taught yourself all these different things. And ultimately, over time, you like learn that the only way to learn is to mess up a whole bunch of times, or put yourself in a scenario where you're like, I'm never doing that again. Like, I remember one time I had this bright idea that like you could survive with just an emergency blanket no matter what. And I was trying to cut weight for an elk trap. Oh, yeah, this is a good story. I just about froze to death. But
I bet.
Yeah, I was like talking with my cousin who was going with me before, when we were loading up at the truck, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to pack this freaking 0-degree sleeping bag back in here 5 miles where we're going. I was like, I've been thinking about it a lot. I got this really nice like emergency bivvy. I'm just gonna crawl in it, and like, I'm pretty sure I'll survive the night. Like, I'll be fine. Like, he's like, he's got a search and rescue background, and he just looked at me and he's like, okay, like, sure,
whatever, bro.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna do it. We get back there, and yeah, I got my sleeping pad and this freaking emergency blanket, and I woke up at about 2:30 in the morning, just completely soaked from condensation of breathing underneath that stupid emergency blanket, and like borderline hypothermic because it did drop down below zero that night, and ended up literally curling around the fire, not even sleeping in the tent for the rest of the night. And what was going to be a 3-day hunt was only a 2-day hunt. And it was like,
oh man. Yeah.
But yeah, you have to like put yourself in these scenarios to be like, well, guess what? That wasn't a good idea. And I didn't die, but we'll never do that again. Like,
right.
There's a reason you bring a sleeping bag. There's a reason you have these things. It's just like, yeah. And it's like, hunting with these guys, and they're like, why do you carry around a 40-50 pound pack? And it's just like, cause it has everything that I could possibly need in it. Like, it's got my med kit. It's got my X, Y, or Z. Like, I've got a tourniquet. I've got an emergency bivvy. I've got my rain gear. I've got puffy gear. I've got like, it goes through like all the different scenarios. Like, springtime in Montana is crazy. It's like we could get all 4 seasons in one afternoon, sort of a thing. And it's like, you need to be prepared, because if you're not, and you get rained on really hard, and then a sleet storm blows in and it drops to below zero, and then you're wet and 5 miles from the truck and shivering and shaking, and you got to go back through like some alder hellhole that also is now wet. It's like, guess what? You're just going to be, borderline dead by the time you get to the truck if you don't have the tarp or whatever it is that's in your 50-pound backpack that you're lugging around everywhere.
Or if you get to the truck, 100%, man. And that's another thing too. It'll teach you, get into the bear hunting story here in a little bit. Like bear hunting in Montana, if you're doing the spot and stock version of it, man, it's a product of getting to the places those bears want to be, and a lot of times that's not really close to where you can park. Maybe your truck is, you have to park because the mountain roads are literally snowed in the rest of the way. You still have to go 1.5 miles to get to the spot where you can glass before you have to worry about hiking to where you're going to shoot and all that other stuff, man. Like it's a whole product of literally beating feet across mountains. And I reflect on that a lot. It was a huge eye opener for me. So the whole time, like I told you, I about did a backflip when we found out we were going to Montana. And first thing, that's when I first got my first Onyx subscription. Immediately downloaded that. I've been hearing all about it, but now I need it. I'm doing all that, and I'm researching all these places to go, try to hunt, and I'm Googling, what to look for elk habitat, what to look for bear habitat, all this stuff. And I found these, I don't know, one elk spot in particular in the Little Belt Mountains sticks out in my mind. The route that I had planned, I was like, oh, I could park here on this road, and then I could go here. It looks like there'd be a great spot for elk. But it was like 4 miles, I think, as however you had to hike this to get into that area. About 4 miles. In my head, I'm thinking, 4 miles, cool. Yeah. No problem. I remember the first, exactly what the story you were talking about, your bivy, your emergency blanket. The first hunt that I went on that was like a true, we're hiking in, bringing camp with us, all that. I think it was right at the 3 mile mark of getting in there. And it was all downhill, by the way, to get in. So we basically hiked down a mountain into a valley, hiked across there, basically followed a stream up. You're kind of going up, and it's real gradual. You get in there, and like you said, I think my pack was right in at 38 or 40 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. And I remember just thinking, even like going in, it's like, man, this is actually further than you think. And it doesn't seem like it's far because you've got this, it's only 3 miles in your head.
Well, and it's also at 8,000 foot elevation, and you didn't look at that. Right. And you're like,
oh, dude, all the stuff. And I remember I got in there, and then when we get in, it's like we're in the middle of this timber where we're going to set up camp because we're kind of scouting for the hunt. This is the pre-version. This was summertime. It was nice. So we get in there. We were going to go hang a couple trail cameras in some spots. And I remember having to go, because we'd already hiked down the mountain, then we had to shoot back up because that's how you're going to get up to where the elk are going to be and the glassing areas and stuff. And going up that first mountain, and I was hunting with a dude that's like $170 soaking wet, and he's the guy that can look at a spot 3 mountains away and I'm going to go there. And he goes from point A to point B in a straight line. So down, up, down, up, down, up. And he's like a friggin' mountain goat, dude. And I'm like, I'm not that guy. I'm like 240, 6 foot. And, my gun sticks up, with the barrel over my head.
You're way too high.
It's impossible, dude. We're way different. I'm going to have to switch back this stuff and figure it out. But anyway, I just remember like how tired I was when we got to the top of that first mountain going back up after we'd hiked in the 3 miles. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, what do I do if I kill something back here? Because this is a whole, now I have my 40-pound pack, which I worked really hard to get down on weight. That doesn't matter, dude. You get, 75 pounds of meat, and you got 2 dudes that you got to pack, you're each hopefully carrying 50 to 70 pounds if you're lucky. Have to hike out 3 miles, come back, get another load, hike it out 3 miles, come back, and possibly pick up the head in your camp. And then you got it. So it's never a one-way street. It's the back and forth, and you can't carry an elk out on your own back. It's impossible.
No, I've been on that scenario tons of times too, where I've literally looked at animals and then looked at the country it was in and looked at where we were at and how far it's been. And you just, that's a really big elk, but he's going to be really big over there. Cause
that's right.
Even if we got to a spot where we could shoot him, there's no way you're making it up and down that windfalled hill with 100 pounds on your back, sort of a thing. And then you start looking at the map and you're just like, oh, it's all windfall. Like he's there for a reason. Like that there's animals that live in areas that are actually unkillable because it's not going to be ethical to be able to kill it and get it out of there in the same good amount of time, sort of a thing.
No.
Ethics
I've had that and your own survival. Yeah, it's important, man. I mean, because you start looking at it from a different lens once you've done it. And that's, a lot of guys when they're out of state, going back to that topic, guys look at Montana. The first thing they think is like, oh, I've got to get in shape to go hunt there. It's like, yeah, you got to be in shape, but you need to be smart. Like, don't look at something as like, how hard can I work to do it? Like there is a reality, and in a lot of your local Montanans, I don't know how many local people I had that told me, I don't shoot an elk unless I can back the truck up to the mountain and push that elk down the hill into the bed of my truck.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's the reality. And they're not joking. They're like,
some
I've
areas
done it.
like Onyx is an awesome tool, and Go Hunt, awesome tool, phenomenal tool. Even Google Earth, phenomenal tool. But there are some places, especially in the Rocky Mountains, unless you're standing at the bottom of that trail looking up at that mountain, you will never actually know how steep it is. Like, I don't know how many times I have like gone to look at something that I've scouted on Onyx and been like, oh, this should be like good bear country or something. And it's all rocky and cliffy and craggy or whatever. And I get there and I'm looking at literal goat and sheep country. And it's like, there's no way a human could even walk up that. But like on Onyx, it doesn't show that it's that steep. Even when you put it, it's like, you got to mess with the elevation thing to make it look exactly as steep as it actually is. And you're only seeing so much detail. So it's just like, yeah, you can have all these big ambitions of like, yeah, we're going to go 3 miles on this trail, but it's like, you might not too. Like, that's also a very good possibility. Like,
and if you can find a copy, I would recommend to anybody, and this kind of puts a bow on this whole situation. Like, if you can find a copy of it, find the book, Dying to Hunt in Montana. And it literally all it is, it's like, I don't even know. I'll have to go look actually. I have it right here. Hold on. Let me grab it.
Yep.
I forgot I have it. I have it in the studio, boys. Let's go grab it. All right. So, all right. Mic back on. So it's Dying to Hunt in Montana by Tom Donovan. Here's the book. And I got this recommended to me at Fort Benton, like the actual like Fort Museum up there. One of the guys was talking to me about just hunting elk in Montana, and he said, you need to find this book. So it is, this is what I wanted to check. It's 410 pages deep. And let me show you what one entry is. It's like 1 paragraph entries of someone who literally died hunting in Montana. And it's like from the years, it has different reasons they died. So some of it was exposure, like you said, like dying literally from just being too far off the trail, and it started raining, man, and they find them frozen to death, 3 months later.
So it's like all stories of different stories of people dying in Montana.
All of it.
That's
from hunting accidents, from exposure problems, from bear attacks, from there's a bunch of weird ones in here, dude, that if you're into true crime,
Sasquatches and that sort of stuff.
Well, I haven't found the Sasquatches yet, but I'm like stories you read in today's true crime podcast society, you're like, someone needs to dig deeper into that, because that was murder. That wasn't an accident. Like all these crazy things, XYZ got shot in the back of the head while crossing a fence with his buddy. You're like, did that actually happen that way? Because it's like, I don't know, but they're all like literally it's 410 pages of 1 paragraph entries, and there's like different categories of how they died, and it's literally from like 1800s to present day, whenever the book was published. And anyway, it's wild. But if you want to get a realistic picture of what it's like why you should just be smart about everything you do, whether you're going 10 feet from the truck or 10 miles from the truck, pick up the book Dying to Hunt in Montana. It's I don't know, it's a kind of a pastime for me to just like dig into it and kind of read it a few pages at a time, but it is crazy, dude. And it's just like, you're not, every single one of those people, when they left that truck, they had full intentions of returning to the truck that day with something in their game bags, right?
Yeah.
One reason or another, they left the truck and they never came back. And unfortunately, someone had to go find them. And that's just but it's crazy, man. And like 410 pages worth from the 1800s till now. Like, it's just, it's a wild place, dude.
In the woods or on the water, it's the small details that dictate success or failure. A ruined diaphragm call or a lost fly isn't just a nuisance, it's a blown opportunity. You spend thousands on the hunt, don't lose it because you didn't protect your tools. Puck Outdoors has solved this with their 100% made in the USA modular twist lock storage systems. For hunters, the Puck keeps your elk and turkey mouth calls protected, organized, and dry, and ready to run. No more warped reeds, searching through pockets, junk drawers, or the truck floorboards. For fishermen, the Fishing Puck features a magnetic tray in 4 modular compartments to keep your hooks, flies, and weights locked down in exactly where you need them. It's compact, it's rugged, and it's built to keep your most critical gear in peak condition season after season. The best part is they fit right in your pocket, your bino harness, or your fishing vest. Don't let poor organization be the reason you come home empty-handed. Go to puckoutdoors.com and use code Prayin and Slayin to get yours. That's code Prayin and Slayin to save 10%. Protect your calls, secure your tackle. Puck in, pack out. We've all been there. You're 6 hours into a sit and the buck you're after is nowhere in sight. Your knees are absolutely barking against the bark of that tree. Most hunters just suck it up until they can't take it anymore, and then they head for the truck. But you can't fill a tag from the couch. Comfort isn't a luxury, it's a tactical advantage that keeps you in the game longer. That's why you need the knee bag by Light to Fire Outdoors. This isn't some cheap foam pad. It's a patent-pending bead-filled design that actually molds to your knees and supports your hips. It's built from ultra-tough, weatherproof Cordura, and it won't soak up water or gain weight when the weather turns sideways. It features padded wings that cradle your knees and even has MOLLE attachments for your thermocell or other pouches and gear. It's 100% made in the USA, handmade by veterans, so you know you're supporting an awesome cause every single time you get in the tree. The best part, it's a multi-season tool. Strap it to your body for saddle hunting or mount it to the tree trunk as a knee pad, or when rifle season hits, turn it sideways. It becomes a rock-solid 15-inch tree-mounted shooting bag for those precision shots out of a saddle. Whether you want coyote tan or mossy oak bottomland, this is gear that evolves with your hunt. Stop fighting your gear and start focusing on the hunt. Get yours at www.prayinandslayin.com and use my code PRAYIN10 to get free shipping on your order. You can also hit the link in the show notes. The knee bag, comfort evolved. Stay steady, stay ready. This episode is powered by Dead Nuts Outdoors, makers of the most lifelike, lightweight, and weatherproof 2D archery targets in the world. That's right, I said 2D. We're talking full-size animals that bring the hunt to your backyard. Whether you're dialing in before the season or just burning daylight with your bow, Dead Nuts Targets makes practicing fun, training on full-size animals to ensure every rep in the backyard converts to success on your trips to the field. Built to last, easy to haul, compatible with any backstop, and 100% made in the USA, Dead Nuts Outdoors is a proud supporter of our veterans, investing in conservation and rooted in building a better, more confident community of hunters every step of the way. They are proud supporters of the Prayin and Slayin podcast network, and you can get 10% off your Dead Nuts targets by using the code Prayin and Slayin at checkout. That's Prayin and Slayin at your checkout or visiting the link in the show notes. Dead Nuts is helping us all hit the spot, not the dot. Hit it, Dead Nuts. Now, let's get back to the episode.
And then you're talking spring bear, like we're going to get into here.
Yeah, we can get into it.
Jumping into your awesome bear hunting story, dude. Like I said, I've bear hunted every year. I was up there for 5 years. I never got it done. Saw my fair share of saw a handful of black bears, saw a buttload of grizzlies, and I saw every weather condition, like you said, that you can imagine. And got my truck stuck a couple of times, which made me a little nervous, but we got out, which was good. But yeah, dude, like let's dive into your hunting story here. So from the pictures, it looked like it was a beautiful day, and you killed an awesome black bear. So like walk us in how you scouted it all the way to the point of packing that sucker out.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm that Montana resident that takes full advantage of like all of our public lands. So I hunt all the way from eastern Montana to western Montana. Like,
heck yeah.
And spend way too much time on Onyx and go hunt. But this year really wanted to like try to find some spots that were within 30 to 40 minutes of like my house that might look semi decent, that I've never been in or I've never heard of anybody going into, sort of a thing. And this spot actually was a spot I was trying to talk multiple buddies into going into. And every single person was like, "No, dude, I don't want to go in there. No, I don't want to go in there." And like, even to the point of I had buddies call me a couple hours before I went out hunting, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to this other spot." And I was like, "You guys sure you don't want to go to this spot?" And they're like, "No, we're already going to go." I was like, "Fine. Well, I'm going to go by myself then." But I'm going into this spot because I know there's going to be bears. It's been like a crazy, super easy winter. Like, it's just a craggy, rocky, nasty hellhole of a canyon that has like this really nice logging road going right up to this big basin, sort of a thing. And it's just like the logging road, you gain like 1,800 foot elevation going up it. So it's like still a bit of a hike. But
yeah,
I was just like, for a nice solo evening rip, like it'll be easy enough to walk out of there by myself and whatever.
Yeah.
But no, so I went there, I got ready, took off at like 4 o'clock. I ran into this spot. Uh, I've got a service animal, an Akita, but she kind of just goes with me everywhere. Um, but she was tagging along with me, and we went in there, and I walked into this basin, and I was like, well, this looks good enough. There's like 4 or 5 more like ridges and draws that I could like keep going if I didn't see anything. But I was like, I'll sit here for a couple hours or an hour or so and see what I can see, because I could still see some of those ridge lines down further if anything popped up on them. And I was like, if it gets to like 8 o'clock or whatever, I'll get up and then keep walking down the trail and go see what else I can see until dark, and then get on out of here. And at like 7:15, I was like just blatantly staring at this back bull for like 20 minutes straight. Like, it's one of those like just deep in your own thoughts sort of a thing. And I'm like, why did that stump relocate itself? It's like, I thought that black stump, like that black stump that was over there was definitely by that other bush, I'm pretty sure. And then I start looking at it a little closer, and it's 1,000 yards plus out still at this time. And I'm like, well, I think it's moving. And so I instantly like, hey, spotter, like, let's get this going. Pulled up my binos, and I threw my binos on it, and it still just looked like a shiny black log, like just any old other deadfall that's been burnt. And just like, I don't think that's a freaking bear, but whatever. Just stood there, got the phone scope already, and put it on, and I was like, maybe. And sure enough, he just came walking out, and then heart racing, like, okay, well, game on. Like, how big is he? Like, is it a he? That's like a big thing that with bear hunting, I wish more people would just like watch bears the first couple of times they went out hunting, and didn't even take a gun to shoot one, sort of a thing. Just like put all the effort into going and seeing them, so you could like really tell what's a female and what's male. But no, I was just like getting set up to watch it for as long as possible. And I was like, if it walks into like 500 yards, I'm going to get the gun out and get set up. And it walked into 500 yards. And by that point, I was like, oh, it's a boar. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. He's like got a grizzly bear style hump between his freaking back, and he is just like waddling like a duck. And I'm like, yeah, that's a boar. That's not a female. And I was like, well, as soon as he gets to 500 yards, I'm going to shoot him. And he just wouldn't stop. And so I was like, well, I guess I just keep filming. And so I filmed him for like 16 minutes as he walked across this basin and just kept coming and kept coming. And I was like, it was getting to a point where I was like, well, the gun's dialed in at 0. If he gets closer than 100 yards, like, I don't know where I'm going to aim. So I'm going to have to shoot him at 100 yards. Like, he winded me at like 170 yards, and then kind of stepped back, and I ranged him again, and he was 190, and put 2 good shots. First shot was just absolutely perfect, but I grew up, the country up here is thick, so you shoot until it stops moving, sort of a thing. Like, and I just put another one in him really fast, and he rolled back down into the camera frame, and the work kind of started from there. It was like, it went from a sightseeing adventure in my mind to just checking out a new spot to, oh boy, we got a hour's worth of daylight left, and I got a 400-pound bear that I got to deal with now. And
like, heck yeah, dude. He was a stud too.
What's going on?
400 pounds, what you estimate at?
Yeah. Also, I like no scale, and I'm not taking it out by myself, sort of a thing. But it's just like I based it off of mule deer and other things that I've killed, and it's just like how hard he was to move around by myself, and that sort of thing. It's just like, and he squared at 6'6", so he's a big mountain bear for our area, and yeah, I got to get an official measurement on the skull. Not that that really matters, but he's just under the all-time book score. He's like 20 and 7/8 or something skull when I measured him. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, biggest bear I've ever took. Biggest bear I've ever been on a hunt and taken. So it was pretty cool. And then it was all by myself, and I was 3 miles in, and I tried to load everything up on one go, and that was a no-go. So 40-pound pack, and I had like, it was a solid 120 pounds of meat and fat that I pulled off of him and stuff. And then I tried to strap the hide and the skull and everything to the top of my freaking backpack, and I put on my pack, and it was like a turtle moment. I like legit could not get rolled over to stand up, and was like, oh, interesting. I've never had a scenario like this before. Like, this thing's elk heavy. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. So I took off the hide and still just barely got that pack up, and was like, holy crap, this is literally like packing out a full mule deer all by yourself. Like, this is a big ass bear. And
that's crazy, man.
Took him out of there and went back and grabbed the hide, and took him to the tannery, and don't know what I'm going to do with him yet, but I'll probably rug him out, or I don't know. He's cool enough that I'll definitely do something with the hide. I wanted to do like a half mount of some sorts with the next bear that I killed, but this one, he doesn't have anything cool that would be cool for a half mount. So, but he was a really old bear, and so I definitely got to do something to honor him in some sort of way. So
100%, man. Well, there's nothing wrong with a tanned hide, dude. That's actually the elk right here. I got him. That was the first elk I got with a bow. I actually got him in Colorado. And that was kind of I was like, I got to do something with the first elk I got with a bow. I just don't know what to do. And it was kind of hot and everything. And I was like, man, I just don't know if I want to like mess. I got him in Colorado. I was traveling back to Montana. Actually, I was still living there. And so I ended up just, I was like, you know what? Like, it'd be really cool to have a tanned elk hide, just no reason. But I'm like, I want to do something. The Euro's probably the best economical option at that time. And it was smack middle of COVID. So I'm like, well, just what's easy, you know? But yeah, I'm so glad I did. In my office, I've got the whole elk hide, takes up the whole wall. Yeah. It's like, it's cool just from a size perspective, just to go like, dude, that's what you walk up on when you walk up to an elk. You know, that was the first thing that ever dawned on me. First elk I got was like, I walked up to it and I was like, I was standing there staring. It was a work event that I actually earned a spot on, and the guide was like, he thought I was just like unhappy with it, and I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to take this in right now. Like,
I'm just blown away right now.
How big these are. Yeah, it was like nuts. And so that when I got this guy, he was my second elk, and I was like, I got to do something to get the hide so people can see like this is. And I've had more people walk in, they see all the mounts, they think that's cool, and they see that hide and they're like, what is that? And you're like, that's that head on the wall back there, dude. But that's what you walk up to. But for a big bear, man, and my boy too, like I got into, I had a bobcat from a long time ago that I'd shot with a 30-06, unfortunately. So it's got like a softball size hole in its back. And but I tanned the hide. I was like, I'm not going to not tan a bobcat. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, in Maryland, we were stationed, prior to being here in Texas, you could, or we just trapped in our backyard, because if anything's like a nuisance, you can trap. So I got some raccoons out there, a couple foxes, and same thing. He thinks it's neat. So I'm like, I tan the hides, and I've got a little fish, like a metal fishing stringer. We hang all the hides on now, and he's got every person that comes to our house, dude, you're not going to get out of this house without getting a tour of that hide chain. Like, he loves it. Like, he brings it out. He tells people what they are, all these cool facts about them. And anyway, I'm all about the bear rug situation, dude. That's sweet.
No, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I've got a little bit of an artsy side to me, and I can't even say that word right now, so I'm not even going to try. I like to do very detail-oriented stuff, but I've thought about getting into taxidermy a little bit now that I've got. I have multiple buddies that killed bears this year, and they just get theirs soft tan. So it's like I got like 6 bears that I could start doing taxidermy stuff with. And I
Yeah.
was gonna maybe start with this bear and try to do like a life-sized pillow mount with
Oh,
him,
that'd be cool.
and
Yeah.
then the kids can lay on him and play with him or do whatever. He can sit in my office and just exist, sort of a thing. But then
Yeah.
it'll give it that full body perspective of like, oh, hey, that's a large animal. Like,
That
that's
would
not
be sick, dude. I
be
never
like,
thought about that.
yeah, well, they're doing them with these pillow or like the pillow mounts with these wolves and bobcats and
Yep.
like all these other stuff now. And I'm like, why couldn't you just do a bear in the exact same way that they're doing those ones with like this hard structured foam over
Hmm.
the mold sort of a thing, and then just do soft stuffing for all the limbs, and like that's
Yeah.
how they all are. So yeah, I
Yep.
was thinking about trying that, and if that doesn't work out like I would hope, then it's not that difficult to take a nice tanned hide and unstitch it and turn it into like a pack mount or something like that. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be super cool. So you said you took out the meat and the fat from it. Do you do all like you keep the whole bear, or like what's
yeah,
your secret on bear meat? And then I'm assuming you probably render the fat and all that stuff then too, huh?
yeah. Well, we processed it all down ourselves. Seems like game processors in the state of Montana are like a non-existent anymore, so you kind of have to. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I it's not my favorite meat, and don't everybody kill me for that, but it's just I'm a big fan of elk, so I like elk meat.
Oh
I
yeah.
like mule deer meat. Um, but it's really good sausage meat. So like I will literally make the whole entire thing, just grind it down and turn it all into breakfast sausage. And then with the fat, yeah, we just render it down, and then I'll use it for like waterproofing stuff. For like my wife has like numerous things that she does with it. I don't even pay attention to what she does with it. She just asks for some, and I'm like, here you go, do whatever.
Yeah.
So but
You
yeah,
deliver
no,
it, she
she
executes it.
doesn't cook with it or anything like that. So we're not utilizing it in that way. But I know definitely people do, and it like our bears up here, they're all primarily berry fed bears. So
Hmm.
like if you kill a fall bear up here, it's not weird for the fat to be almost like pink because of like the
Wow.
huckleberries dyeing their fat color. And
Hmm.
they will be like those a fall bear. I've wanted to kill a fall bear really bad and have never got it done. But like fall bears, I would probably make that into a whole bunch of different stuff because it's like it tastes like pie when you it's like the weirdest thing ever. It's like I know this is meat right now, but why does it taste like berries? Like
That's awesome.
so
Yeah,
where
we
like in Alaska they talk about the fish or like the bears getting that fishy smell or taste to them. So I think it
yep.
corresponds with the same thing. They're just their diet, but yeah,
Yeah, what they eat. 100%. Yeah, that's yeah, and Montana huckleberries, when you run into those when you're hunting, they're a tasty treat, that's for sure. And I mean, I don't know, I don't think I'm spot burning at all, but like one of the hunts I wanted to do really bad while we were stationed there, and I had actually the dude I told you already, Tony Hershey. I was driving to a spot where I already bear hunted, and I see this dude come up out of this ditch with a rifle on his shoulder. No cars, no trucks around at all. Like I'm like, where did this guy come from? I'm like, do I stop because I've read this book and you don't pick up hitchhikers, by the way, um, or especially with guns over their shoulder, or or do I be the nice guy and be like, hey, bro, you need a ride? So anyway, I
yeah,
end up getting the better of me. I backed up and just rolled down my window a little bit. I was like, hey, man, like, you doing good? And he goes, yeah, I just shot this bear or whatever. So anyway, long story short, he goes diving in for his bear. I'm like, I'll go down the road and I'll come back. I'll be here if you need, instead of going into the wilderness with this dude that I don't
yeah,
know, right? But anyway, I end up running across this. There's a hunting outfitter out there, and I was talking to a guy that had just pulled in. He just got done taking a couple of clients on a trip somewhere. Pulls in, pulls out a bottle of Basil Hayden's. He's like, "Hey, do you need any help?" And I'm like, "Ah, there's this guy down here. He just shot a bear." And he's going to look for it. And he goes, "Oh, actually, that's what I'm coming to camp for." He said, I know that guy. He hunts out in this area all the time. He said, I'm gonna go help him try to find it. You want to go?" And I'm like, "I'd rather not, man. Like, I don't know. Like, just
Yeah.
cool that there's bears here. That's awesome because this is the area I wanted to hunt. But I'll just I'll maybe catch you guys on the next one, kind of thing, right?" And he goes, "Well, have a drink with me at least, and I'll answer any questions you have for you. Where are you from? Blah blah blah." Right. So we had a couple shots, and he tells me about a place that he used to go up in the Flathead Valley, and all the mountain ridges up there over the lakes. A lot of them are just covered in huckleberries. And so there's literal outfits and guys that do it without outfitters, that you'll sit on one side of the lake on the highway where you can pull off, you glass, you find a bear eating berries, and they'll be there because they just eat the berries till they pass out, basically. So you drive all the way around the lake, you hike up the mountain and try to get a shot. I always wanted to try to go do that hunt. I never did it. But and then I've heard a lot of testimonies to the bears eating berries, man. They taste delicious, apparently, and it's this like totally unique thing, and never got a chance to try it yet.
Yeah, no, it's like a lot of my good bear spots are also very, very good berry picking spots. It's just like,
yeah, yep.
You have to go into them. Yeah, you have to go into them prepared as far as like, yeah, we come in here to kill bears most times, so just know that they're here.
Yep, so. Exactly right. That's awesome, dude. And then so I'll ask this too. So like, what my very first bear hunt, like I told you, I had a 270 and knew nothing about long range shooting. Just got there from Iowa. Like 100-yard shot was a long shot for me, right?
Yeah.
Get this bear. He's I estimated, because this crappy rangefinder at the time, I ranged and it would not pick up. Finally, there's this big boulder that it was like walking above. I ranged this boulder and it says 350, or it wouldn't pick up the boulder. So I'm like, screw this. I go down, estimate what's halfway between me and that bear, range this big tree. It says 350. So I'm like, okay, I'm guessing he's 700. And anyway, long story short, didn't pull off the shot. But now I enjoy long range shooting and all that stuff. And I practice quite a bit out to, like you mentioned, 500 out here in Texas. We've got a 500-yard range that I go to quite a bit. Just to keep the skill up, because it's something I want to be proficient. I hopefully one day get back to Montana or somewhere and have an opportunity to hunt a mountain bear. What's your rifle of choice, and what caliber do you use?
I've been using the same rifle and caliber for a long time, but and there's a little bit of history to it, but I love this rifle and caliber. It's a 270 Winchester short mag.
Okay.
It's a caliber that's not in development anymore because of lawsuits. So, and when you dive into that caliber of gun, you find out that an engineer designed it and he patented it because it was so awesome. And the closest thing to it now is the 6.8 Western, and anybody that shoots that will tell you how freaking awesome that caliber is. So it's just like, then they've made all these 6.5 variations of stuff that try to put out numbers semi-similar to what the 270 WSM was pushing out. And I know tons of guys that shoot 300 WSM. That's a very popular round for long range shooting too. A little more kill power, heavier bullet and stuff like that. But the gun that I'm using is a custom built gun. You can actually buy pretty much the exact same gun nowadays off of Savage's website. But when I built it 7 years ago, I had to source the chassis and source the barrel and source the brake and put all this stuff together. And now MDT is partnered with Savage, and they just build this gun. It doesn't have the same barrel. I've got a proof barrel on my gun, but yeah, it shoots. And we've got a range here locally that goes out to 2,000, and
oh wow,
I reload way more than I need to. We're in my reloading room right now.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's a fun little hobby that I like doing, shooting stuff, plinking steel at long range. So, but it also it comes in handy a lot anymore. So I don't know. When I was younger, I don't know how many animals I missed not hunting with a rangefinder and just kind of throwing a bullet and being making a correction sort of a thing, and then you're shooting at one, a moving animal probably, or
Yep.
two, depending on the kick of the gun, it's like you never even saw where that bullet went and you have no freaking idea. So as soon as I got into like hunting again in my earlier 20s, I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna freaking shoot stuff from a long ways away. And like
Yeah.
I had a dream as a young kid to freaking go into the Marines and be a sniper, and I failed out of MEPS, so I never got that opportunity. But looking back on it, that was a huge blessing, not a curse sort of a thing. But
For sure.
yeah, so I dove into it pretty heavily, and I shoot 2 or 3 times a week sort of a thing, or try to. And yeah, I big fan of long range shooting and a big fan of the 270 WSM. So,
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. That's awesome. I know some guys that have them actually, but the hunting buddy I was telling you about, it's like a $170 soaking wet. That's his gun of choice, is a 270 WSM, and that was the first time I'd actually, I think, heard about it or really paid attention. And he had an event where he was black bear hunting. I was going to go with him. I had something to do for work, and so I was like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to go for like another hour past when he wanted to leave. So anyway, he went out by himself over on the front range there. And yeah, long story short, he thought he was hunting a black bear, just a giant one. Watches this grizzly come in, he thought he was hunting a giant black bear, just like you said, kind of had the hump and doing all the things, but it was jet black. And so he's like, yeah, that can't be a grizzly. I've never seen a jet black grizzly. But there's a lot of grizzlies in the area. Well, then he sees what he knows for sure is a grizzly, and this big black, what he thought was a black bear, goes in and beats the crap out of this grizzly. And he's like, that's wild. Never seen that before, right? Like usually it's the opposite that's true. So this whole thing plays out. The grizzly that got beat up ends up disappearing. Well, it shows up, finds him, and decides it's going to make its way down to him and not stop. And he gave it all the warnings and stuff. And eventually he was forced to shoot it, but he shot once, and it spun it around. It ran off, and he came back, and kind of like you said, he keep shooting until whatever, but he didn't want to shoot it running away when he thought he scared it or whatever. So, but it did decide to pivot, turn around, and come running back again. He shot it and dropped it. So anyway, for stopping power on a bear, absolutely, but more than you need probably for black bear in a certain case, but definitely
it definitely is. I actually, my main buddy that I shoot with currently, he is a huge advocate in these lighter calibers, like these 22 Creedmoors.
Oh yeah, yep,
243. And honestly, I've like going out shooting with him and stuff, like he can plink steel with his 243 at 1,000 yards. And like follow-up shots, just like, and that's his whole argument is like, he's like, dude, it doesn't matter how big the bullet is. If I can put 3 in the exact same spot without the gun ever moving, because like there's no recoil, there's like the action's so short that like you're just throwing that bolt back and forth, and like you shoot enough and practice enough that you know exactly where your gun's going to shoot. Guess what? You can put 3 bullets in its heart, and it doesn't matter how big that bullet is. You can shoot a 55 grain bullet, sort of a thing. And I don't know. It's been really eye opening to me, because I've wanted to build a much heavier gun, like 300 PRC, or like even going to the extreme of like a 375 Shy-Tac or something. Just purely for fun more than anything.
Right, yeah. It's an addiction. Yeah.
Just inertia downrange would be really cool. But
you don't have to watch where the bullet hits, because you'll still see the vapor trail hanging in the air with the 375 Shy-Tac when the scope settles.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I don't know. I'm not like, I will never rip on any caliber anybody shoots, sort of a thing. I think the best advice ever out there, and everybody that's smart, I think, will preach it, is it's just like, find whatever caliber you can shoot good and you're comfortable with, and then shoot it lots so that you're super comfortable with it, and then use that gun or use that caliber. Like you don't need a specific caliber. And guess what? A 6.5 Creedmoor is gonna kill a freaking elk. It's just like it might not do it at the ranges some of these guys are trying to shoot that, because that bullet caliber is more of a plinking caliber for long range shooters. Like it's just a reality. So it's like, do your research, figure out which bullet or caliber or whatever is going to do what you think it should do for whatever you're hunting, and then shoot that gun. So
and shoot it a lot. That's it. Just get the practice, get the reps over and over and over and over and over again. And then what I like that you said in your story there is you said you had a threshold that you had marked out already. You're like, if that bear gets to X, and you said 500 yards, at that point I'm going to make my shot. So what is it about 500 yards? Is that a self-imposed limitation? Is that something? So going on this caliber rabbit hole, like for me, I dial all my stuff. I've got a 6.5 PRC that I'm kind of obsessed with right now, but it's my plinking gun. I've shot a mile with it. Like I love shooting it for all the reasons you just said. I can shoot it over and over. I can burn ammo. I can, all the stuff. Anybody that comes to the house that wants to go shooting with me, they can shoot it comfortably. And I know it packs roughly 270-ish type power if, for applicable hunting purposes, but I still set my threshold based off of energy.
Is like the 6.5 PRC is phenomenal. Like it really is the best out of all the 6.5 lineup for sure.
Well, and I set it for I use the GeoBallistics app, and on there you can set your energy threshold, your velocity threshold, and some other stuff. So then this is where the research comes in, like you said. So get comfortable shooting it, put those bullets in a quarter size group over and over and over. But then you need to know, like at certain speeds or at certain energy profiles, that's what is the science of the bullet, is how the bullet's going to perform on impact. And really that's what kills the animal. So for me, it's like go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of like guys out there with like tons of crazy good information about stuff. Philip Vallejo, he's one that I watched like all of his videos. He's an ex-SEAL sniper. Really freaking knowledgeable dude. But he I can't even remember what I was going to say now with what you were just saying. I had a big old brain fart because I got a text message.
Oh, no worries. My question was, you set your line at 500, or that's in the story you had a line that was 500.
So I was going to step into like the load development and like figuring out like what you were saying, like using those apps and stuff. And it's like, I've got a buddy, I don't pay for it just because I'm cheap on those sorts of things, but I got a buddy that pays for the Applied Ballistics app, and it's just like he runs through every load that we've developed for like any caliber or whatever. He'll run through that app, and it's like a pretty pricey app, but through that app you can run like these simulations of various bullets and powders and like all these different stuff, humidity densities. Like you can get really, really, really freaking particular with the information that you're putting in there. And we will literally develop loads for guns doing that and never shoot a bullet.
That's awesome. Oh,
so
wow.
we'll run through like 4 different powder selections with one bullet sort of a thing, and pump it through all of these different variations and simulations or whatever, and then at different yardages, and it gives you all your hit percentage probabilities based off that bullet's BC, and like it's pretty accurate as far as like when you're trying to figure out like when you are getting into the reloading side of things and you're like, oh, will this bullet work with this powder sort of a thing? And instead of loading 5 at 5 different grain variances, you can just enter all that data into an app and it'll spit you out. This one will hit 47% at 500 yards. This one hits 53% at 500 yards. This one hits 57% at 500 yards, just based off of the ballistics of the bullets and the feet per second that powder variance is going to be pushing out, sort of a thing. And so that's what we use to develop all of our loads moving forward. And then we go out and test stuff and be like, yeah, this is actually, the app said this one would do this. And hey, it does. It frickin' is spot on, like no need to mess with anything, but it takes a whole bunch of the learning curve out of the reloading side of things to be able to get into it. That's for sure.
That's awesome. And then, so for you, like with is it your specific load? You're just saying, okay, at 500, that load I know is going to do the job it needs to do, or is that more of like a
Yeah,
self-imposed limitation
it's
of
just a
distance?
self-imposed limitation. Like I can literally go out and shoot 1,000 yards and go 9 for 10 on steel. Like I have shot at animals this last year, and I freaking hit a mule deer bad this last year, and it was right at 1,000 yards. And wind was definitely like a huge factor. And wind and elevation were a huge factor, and I didn't have good wind call or elevation. And I definitely wounded this deer. And then I found it a day later, like 12 miles away from where I shot it, limping still.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, yeah, I know I can shoot steel all the time at this range, and I know I can kill stuff at that range, but it's just like, what is actually ethical? And I had a little self-learning moment with that this last season of just like, okay, 1,000 yards, not ethical. Like it's just,
yeah.
It's just not. There's too many things that come into a factor, and like it doesn't matter what long range shooter you talk to. It's like wind is your biggest factor beyond 500 yards. Like as soon as you get to that 500-yard threshold, wind becomes your biggest factor for missing. And we've found that running like stuff through the applied ballistics stuff, you can change a 1 mile per hour variance on a load in the exact same yardage, and your hit percentage will go down by like 40%.
Isn't that wild?
So it's just like, oh, holy crap. Like, yeah, a little bit of wind can make a huge difference beyond 500 yards. So that's where I've kind of just been like, I know that I can shoot a quarter at 500 yards sort of a thing. And I know that wind's not going to mess that up. So 500 yards
you can
is kind of where I personally, but like honestly, I'll shoot further than that if the wind conditions are right. So
right, exactly. You're taking into the factor that, and that's kind of what the limit I've set for myself after I went to a couple long range shooting schools and kind of did all that. And then, the first thing they ask you at the school that I went to, two different versions of, they ask, when everybody, they get there, you introduce yourself and say, what range day one do you feel confident at? And I remember my answer was 200 yards the first time I went. And this is talking with full, modern calibers and everything else. I'd set that bar in my head at 200 yards. But in Montana, the first couple of years I was there, I shot further than I'd ever shot in my life. And I think I shot 170 yards, 205 was my wife's shot. I had a 210-yard shot and a 190-yard shot on different deer and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, that was plenty fine, right? Like that's still a long poke in my book and whatever. But then getting there and actually seeing exactly what you're talking about, like how different variants come in. Once you you understand that you are going to do the same thing over and over and over again, and that gun is capable of all the stuff and get out way past what you're comfortable shooting.
Yeah.
It's like you start saying in your head, okay, but like you said, based off wind, the threshold I set for myself was like 400 or 450. I would feel confident probably out to 6, but 100% it's going to be wind dependent. And then it's if it's windy, that threshold starts coming in. And I've seen it like it was a 215-yard shot on a mule deer that I took, and that wind, the first time I really got to see the effects of wind on a bullet, and it was only 215 yards. But I had a 6.5 by 300 Weatherby, so screaming fast 6.5, and I was sitting across the river. These deer were just in the timber on the other side of the river. Buck stood up. He was kind of quartering to me, so I put it right on his front shoulder, thinking no problem, this guy's going to buckle. And I shoot, and he mule kicks. So I'm like, okay, just not the reaction I thought I was going to get. I heard the bullet hit, but that wind was blowing perfect 90 degrees through this river bottom, just screaming. I knew it was windy, but I'm thinking it's 200 yards. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not going to affect it. Yeah,
it runs off the whole group. Montana river bottoms, 100 deer take off running out of there, right? So I kind of lose him in the mix. Cross the river, get over there, start looking for blood, can't find anything. And I'm like, gosh, I know I hit that deer. Anyway, I start just creeping along like at the direction he kind of went, and I look up and he stands up. He was about 40, 50 yards, but he jumped up, and I was like, no way. So I shot again. He kind of did this pinwheel thing, took off, stopped, shot again, dropped him. And I was like, okay. So I go up there. That first shot from his shoulder, I think it was 8 inches of 8 inches back into his hind quarter. Now, there is a chance I pulled, but I was laying prone, bipod the whole nine, shot that shot 100 times at the range. There's no reason I should have put that bullet that far back, more in like liver gut scenario on that first shot. But the wind blowing at probably 30, 40 miles an hour right through that river bottom, I think it did. I think it was enough to drift it through
just
that 8 inches.
Environmental factors that came into play. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. You can do everything perfect. And then Mother Nature can be like, haha, no, you didn't.
Right.
So
exactly.
Like, it's I don't know. It seems like, and yeah, every single person is different as far as like what they're going to deem as like their ethical range. Like, I know guys that definitely won't shoot at anything past 200 yards. And then I know guys that, given the opportunity, will probably shoot at something at like 1,500 yards. But like, it's like, it to each their own. And like, whatever you can go to sleep at night and feel comfortable with, then go for it. But it's like, I know I felt sick to my stomach after I shot that mule deer way further than I should have, just because I was like, walking up to where I could get to, I was like, as soon as I get to 1,000 yards, I could have easily gotten to 400 yards on that deer. Easy.
Right. Yeah.
But I just had it in my brain. It was just like, as soon as I get to 1,000 yards, that's all I got to do. 1,000 yards. And I got to that 997. And I was just like, okay, laying down here. Like, and
you set the goal, and you're confident in your skills and your ability. But yeah, that was kind of the reason I set my threshold, and the reason for the question was, I think mine would, now that I've had a lot of time here in Texas to practice over and over and over at 500, I know I can. One of the partners of the show is Dead Nuts Outdoors 2D targets, and they're like life-size animals. So it doesn't matter if I put a black bear, a pronghorn, a mule deer, and a full-size elk, whatever it is. I put my 8-inch steel behind it, and I can ring through the vitals 100% of the time at 500 yards. Wind conditions are they're not irrelevant, but I know based off the winds that I can read in that spot, and it's windy here in central Texas. Kind of like Montana, you get a lot of days with 20 mile an hour winds, and the angles always vary. And then you got berms that's the other thing in Montana. You're shooting across a valley, the wind can be doing 3 different things between you and that, animal.
Yeah,
even 5
that bullet, and that bullet's literally getting updraft. It's getting downdraft through a saddle coming at it. And then like you've got elevation coming into play and the angle of shot. And it's just like
all of it, dude. It's like the ultimate, trigonometry.
Yeah, you can get really, really nerdy with it. That's for sure. You can sit there and really like, I don't know. I still haven't bought a Kestrel, but that's definitely probably the next thing on my list. I've been trying to learn how to read wind without it, but like when the difference from 15 to 30 and what happens to the bullet in between there is like so crazy that like you go from like, a mill's worth of movement with like 15 miles an hour wind to potentially 6 mils worth of movement with like, and it's just like, all we did was just double it. Like, how come we don't like, how come it's only a mil 15 sort of a thing? And now it's like, oh crap, like from 25 to 30, I need to dial 1.5 mils sort of a thing. Like,
it is crazy, dude. Yeah, no, it's the whole shooting thing, man. I think one of the tips, I'm going to ask you your best bear hunting tip here in a second, but one of the tips for any bear hunter
before you move on, just because you brought them up really quick.
Yeah, let it rip.
Those Dead Nuts targets, are they good for shooting like rifles with?
They are. Yeah, you could do literally anything with them. They intentionally built them initially for archery. They're all diehard archery hunters, the Daniels family. But yeah, man, I took it out. One of the first things I had to do is when I got mine here in Texas, take them to the gun range. And, I like using steel behind them because I can get some feedback, right? So like at 100 yards reading a 6.5 Creedmoor or a 6.5 PRC bullet through, vinyl.
Yeah, no, I just didn't know how they, I assumed that they healed pretty good being like a reusable archery target, but I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, and the poly that they use, that's good question, man. The poly that they use, it doesn't get weather beaten and crack or shatter. So unless you've just beaten the living hell out of it, and I'm talking like probably on an archery scenario, no joke, probably 200 to 300 arrows, And just because you have the holes in such close proximity, then you'll start getting some, cracking out or busting out. But if you're punching with a bullet, it goes through so fast, dude. It doesn't even phase the poly that you use, and it's a vinyl front. And then they actually have vinyl replacement stickers, and you can get them specific for the animal.
Yeah, it had like patches that you can use to replace them and stuff. And I was like,
and if you want to get like, I'm working right now with them to see if we can get like a shoot and see, like a reactive type thing that they could overlay or involve somehow,
like a plate or
something.
Like the replaceable, like their replaceable vitals that they got.
Yep.
If that was like a shoot and see, or like even like a rubber attachment that could withstand more bullet impacts, sort of a thing, like a self-healing rubber.
Well, that and just something and more like, honestly, just for the immediate feedback. Because if you're, let's say your standard sight in or zero is 100, at 100 yards, like, good luck trying to pick out, unless you have some kind of a bright background, good luck picking out a 6.5 hole in a full size elk, right? They are replaceable vital sections, so you can shoot those out, replace them, and they come with two, so you're going to have a lot of shooting. But what I've started doing is on the I'll go buy like the bigger like the oval shape shoot and see targets, and for the most part, like, I can overlay those on any of the animals, and the elk is the biggest. Overlay it in the vitals and just take a razor blade and cut the excess off. And I'll throw a shoot and see vital section in there, basically, so I can see where it's hitting and get my pattern and all that, or my grouping. But then at distance, so when I want to just practice real life, I'll take the non-covered that I've rigged up to be a shoot and see, and I'll throw the regular one in. So I'm looking at fur of the animal because I want to practice as close as I can to real life. But I'll throw the steel back there because, again, at 500 yards, I have no way to tell.
You need to know if you're getting a report or what's going on. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. So that's what I do, but I love them for that. And I'll take them right back to the backyard. Again, the bullets are flying through there so fast. It leaves a little pencil hole of the bullet or whatever size bullet you're shooting. But yeah, you're not going to affect it. And then, like I said, once it's shot out, you just replace the vital section. Or if you're just going to gun hunt, get a set of those sticker sheets and overlay the vinyl replacement on them, just like you would a shoot and see, almost, except more durable. It's vinyl. And it'll last you forever, dude. They're pretty slick.
No, that's pretty sweet. I might have to order some now, knowing that. So I was curious. You just brought that up, and I was like, "You're shooting them? You can shoot them? What?"
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they're sweet, dude. It's a full size animal at that range, and so, I mean, it literally simulates. And the cool thing too is they've got broadside, obviously, on all the animals, but then the whole reason they built them was to teach their kids all like the real life looks you're going to get in the field. So they have quartering away on the elk. They have a frontal elk even. Just guys take that shot. And obviously YouTube's popularized the opportunity. So why not teach people how to, where exactly you need to do that if you're going to do it. And
steel is just so freaking heavy to like lug around. So it's like, I have like a couple like coyote steel plates, and that are like life size. But then like, I've always like wanted to get a couple deer sized ones, but then my brain goes like, that's so freaking much of a pain in the butt to like carry out there and set up. Set up and then like tear down and everything else. So it's just like, that would be a much easier option. Just go set it in front of gongs and go to shooting, sort of a thing. So
it makes it way more convenient. And like I said, you're shooting at literally a real picture of a real elk or a deer or whatever. So you learn to pick the shadow of the shoulder, muscle, or whatever you're deciding your aim point is in that vital section, or where you want to put that bullet. You're picking out the actual feature on the animal versus, just picking out a dot on a regular target, or, in a 3D scenario, trying to pick the scoring ring that may or may not be the actual ideal place to put that shot or whatever. So, I love them, rifle and bow. Definitely a great option there. For as far as your best, your best overall advice or tip for bear hunter, we're going to go Montana bear hunting because there's different types of bear hunting everywhere. But spot and stock bear hunting, what's your best tip?
Getting really comfortable with walking in the dark.
I love it. I love it.
Getting really comfortable with walking in the dark, because you need to be able to sit on your glassing knob until you literally cannot see out of your binoculars. Because I do not know how many bears I have seen in the last 20 minutes of daylight, and especially big bears. They they're nocturnal animals and they will not step out or do anything. They got big for a reason, and it's not from walking around in the daytime. So
100%. I love that advice, dude. That's funny. They had, when we first got to Malmstrom, Great Falls there, they had a bear hunting seminar you could go do on base. And so, of course, I went to it. And that was the thing that the guy teaching the class said. His number one piece of advice was you have to get really comfortable with the boogeyman. And everybody kind of like looks around like, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, you're going to spend more time hiking in and out in the dark than you are actually going to be hunting the bear. And he goes, it's exactly what you just said. He goes, you'll see more bears in that last 5 minutes of time you have to try to figure out how you're going to shoot it than anything else. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's like, make sure you're picking glassing knobs that you can make a shot off of too. Cause I also don't know how many times you're sitting on a glassing knob, but you're still like that 1,500 yard range away from like what you're looking at. And so like, even when something walks out, it's like not a case of, if that's the only play that you've got is to try to be able to see it and then make a play on it the next day, then go for it. But it's like, I don't know how many times we sat there and been like, nobody's ever taken a range, or we're thinking where something's going to walk out 600 yards below us in the bottom, and then something shows up at 1,600 yards and you're like, well, crap. There he is.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we should have walked up that road another half mile and made sure that we could have shot anywhere on that hillside instead of this sort of a thing. So, but
for sure.
And take naps. Naps are good. So
take
midday naps. Midday naps in the backcountry are good. So
heck yeah. I think midday naps anywhere hunting are good, man. I think you sleep. Some of the most peaceful sleep you'll ever have is when that wind's blowing and the sun lulls you to sleep, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Well, then I love it. And one of the question I ask every single Prayin and Slayin guest that comes on, man, to wrap things up is tell us something good. So tell us something that you feel like the world needs to hear more of from Kade Davis to be a better place.
Oh boy. Oh, I gotta know who sings it exactly, because I got a good one here. But everybody needs to go listen to Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw.
Mm-hmm.
And just listen to the words for real. Listen to every single word and then just apply that to your life. So
I love it.
I could sit here and read the lyrics off to you, but I think most people can go search and listen to a good song for themselves. So, but yeah, 100%. You don't have to go to church to be able to find good messages in this world. And music's always been like a big, important part of my life and my relationship with God. So I think you can find really good messages in music. And that song in particular, recently, I think it speaks a very, very, very good message in today's day and age. And I think people will see more blessings in their own life just doing those two things, being humble and kind, than anything else that they could possibly do. So
yeah, man,
that
totally
would be
agree.
my good advice.
I love it. No, that's great, dude. Yeah. Being humble, being kind, you're going to get a lot further in the world doing that than you are being the opposite, right? And maybe that goes all the way back to the beginning of what we rabbit holed on hard on the beginning of the episode, man. It's just even in the comments, boys, be humble and kind. And, some of their podcasts, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's being kind and humble.
Yep.
So,
that's a huge lesson. I don't know how many times I've had to learn that lesson of like biting your tongue really, really, really hard, because it's just like nothing I have to say in this scenario is going to lead to anything good. So let's just keep our mouths shut and move on, sort of a thing.
Let's roll by it, baby. Let it be water off your back, 100%. And dude, I love that. That's great. And I'll try to link to the like YouTube version of that song in the show notes too. That way people can just click on it there and go find it. And I know the exact song. As soon as you said it, I'm like, I bet it's Tim McGraw. And then you pulled it up. I was like, there's another one. No, I love that song. I was
pretty sure it was Tim McGraw. I just didn't want to give somebody else credit that didn't deserve it. So
100%. No, it's a great song. Amazing message. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. But dude, Kade, I kept you for the full 2 hours, brother. And I sure appreciate you coming on and sharing an awesome bear hunting adventure with us and getting to know you, and just some awesome conversation around the ins and outs of Montana hunting and ins and outs of being humble and kind when you're talking to hunters. And we're all the same. We all come from the same boat. We're all chasing that same dream and passion, man. We all want to be more successful in the field and have some awesome adventures that we can tell to our kids and grandkids or brothers, sisters, friends, whoever at one day, right? Yeah. That's what it's all about. So I do want to plug one thing. I have to do this. So you said you're from Canada. Yeah. I could hear the accent. But this isn't my favorite part of the episode, but it's the part I literally wrote a note. You said you went out for a solo evening rip, and I'm going to just plug that right now. That's my favorite part of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You used it, and I was like, oh, yeah.
I don't know if you allowed cussing in here, but there's a song that's all about that.
I know. Oh, trust me, when we were in Montana, dude, I listened to it quite a bit. So, no, that's so cool, dude. You use it, and I was like, that's amazing. That's the best line right there. That might be the episode title, Out for a Rip, Bear Hunting with Kade Davis.
There we go.
I love it, dude. But yeah, man, is there anything else? You said you do some videography or anything. Is there anything you want to plug? Or
I've got a YouTube channel going. I need to actually finish editing videos. I'm sitting on like 2 years worth of hunting videos, and I've been trying to I like got distracted from editing stuff to try and find sponsorship for other hunts that I have coming up. I drew a bighorn sheep tag this year in Montana. So
no way.
Yeah, I want to like do a film that like is really, really diving into how the wildlife in Montana is being monetized. And like the tag that I drew is one of the unlimited tags. It's nothing special. So it's like one of those tags anybody can get. But I don't know how long before that tag disappears. And I think within the next 4 to 5 years, I could see FWP getting rid of that. And it's going to be solely off of a monetization thing. It's going to be because they see the money behind it. And we, at this point, are like the only state left that has an over-the-counter sheep tag in the lower 48. And it's like, to see something like that disappear, I would be really, really, really sad.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been like huge into trying to like figure out the logistics on doing all that, but I need to actually start releasing stuff on YouTube so that there's stuff there. But in the next 6 months, there'll be 20 different hunt videos on there, 3 or 4 different bear hunts. I shot a Boone and Crockett antelope this last year. Went to Idaho, shot a big old mule deer. Yeah, there's quite a few, and yeah, just trying to get into the dabbling of storytelling and that sort of a thing, and learning a lot along the way as far as the filmmaking side of things goes, and how much B-roll is required to have quality videos.
Yeah, man, it 100% depends on what you want your final product to be, man. But yeah, keeping up on the storytelling train, a lot of those ones are a lot of B-roll heavy, like you said.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
You are like, I've noticed, like I can't even watch things like ethically anymore, because I'll watch like a meat eater video and I'll be like, they had 97 clips in that last 45 seconds.
Yep.
I'm like, what the heck? Like, I don't even know. Like, how do you even go about acquiring that much freaking footage? I'm like,
they film 24/7, and they have somebody's job whose only job it is to edit and probably organize all those files, right? So they probably just, and how they do it without AI involved, honestly, is kind of wild to me. Like, just the raw amount of video hours that they have, that they can pick the perfect thing. That something that, honestly, dude, it probably happened in 3 other months ago or something, right?
But like, that's just it. And that's what I'm learning, is it's just like, you go freaking fly your drone around 4 or 5 times. You go do like this, that, or the other thing. And it's like, there's so many like 2 or 3 second clips that you can compile and use in different like locations and stuff. But it's like, you need to have that footage. It needs to exist. It needs to be there. And it's just like, you'll be I've sat down, I've been editing one bear video from my buddy's hunt 2 years ago now, but I only started it like probably 4 months ago. And I got to a point where I was just like, I need probably 20 more minutes worth of B-roll in order to make this what I want it to be. Like, I gotta go film stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta go get this shot for this line of the story and get this shot for this line of the story. And then, like, I don't know, listen to so many podcasts and stuff and all these other filmmakers and stuff. They like talk about it like, yeah, you need to write a script and you need to go out, and the first 2 days of the hunt, that's all you do is you fill all your script shots. And so you get freaking B-roll, hours and hours of B-roll in those first like 48 hours. And then, okay, now let's go hunting.
Now let's hunt. Yeah. Now we can make a video out of this.
Find something and we can make a video out of this, sort of a thing. And it's like, I'm doing it the opposite way, where I have all the hunt. I've got the kill. Exactly. I've got the everything. And it's like, 100%. Now let's go get the B-roll. So, but yeah, no, Scapegoat Outdoors is my YouTube handle. And you can find me at Scapegoat Outdoors on Instagram. And yeah, I've got a couple products launching, one just being a fire starter, but we're just trying to find a way to fund adventures with the family, sort of a thing, is the whole idea behind the fire starter. So
I love it. What do you have a name for that?
It's the bee's knees is what we're calling it. And
love it.
It's a proprietary blend, nothing special, just like your pyro putty sort of a thing, but ours actually lights with a flint, not to rip on them or anything, but that seems to be a common thing that people don't like about theirs.
Awesome.
But yeah. So that will be on our website and available in a couple other places. Working it out with Murdoch's right now to be,
heck yeah, dude, there you go,
in their storefront. So you guys will be able to find it there if you're familiar with Murdoch's. But yeah. So that's my current little venture I have going on. But
I love that, dude. That's huge, man. Yeah, getting it off the ground and then being in Murdoch's, what a great way to get that across the country too. That's sick. And then your construction business. You want to plug that?
Dreammaker Builders is my construction business. I operate out of Whitefish, Kalispell area. And yeah, if you need fancy work done, or you like making people sign NDAs to do construction work, I'm your guy. So.
I love it, dude. Just to make sure we're clear, Dream Acre or Dream Maker?
Dream Maker.
Maker, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Dream Maker Construction.
Dreammaker Builders.
Builders, my bad.
Yeah. No, you're good. It pays the bills, so that's all I can really say. It pays the bills. It
funds the fire starter.
I don't know. Construction.
Fires your passion.
Yeah, something like that. It fires me to want us to be in the woods for longer. That's for sure.
100%, man. That's so cool, dude. Well, you're a busy man, and I fully understand why, with all that other stuff going on, and why you got a tough time getting that video edited. I'm sitting on multiple seasons of all these cool videos too, and I'm same way, man. It's just like finding the time to edit is the hardest thing in the world. Once you get it on, getting it on video, doing the hunt, that's the cool part. And then, hey, let me store this in a file on a hard drive. And if you don't do it immediately, it's like almost forget about it, you know?
Well, no, it's I'm finding now it's like wanting to tell these stories and like writing out these scripts and like stuff. And it's just like realizing that you have hour-long videos that you're freaking trying to make and stuff, and you're like, I didn't know this. Like, I thought I was making 15-minute hunting film. Like
100%, yeah.
So I did not think I was making like hour-long productions with this like story about the freaking American black bear and all this stuff. It's just like, oh well, I guess it's turning into that, so let's run with it. So
when you got a dream, man, it always seems to start that way. And if you're persistent on it, this podcast is a product of the same thing, dude. It's like, hey, let's get people on that are just like you and me and tell hunting stories. And now it's four podcast network on the Prayin and Slayin side of things, and just like it grows, man. These dreams have a place that they start, and then the original business it all kicked off under was Light the Fire Outdoors. And that's all it was a little spark, and then takes off into places you don't know. And when God's got his hand in it too, dude, it's a whole, you might as well not even try to imagine what it could be, because he's got his own plans, and you just got to do your one dream he puts in your head at a time, man, and let it grow into what it's going to be.
ideas are little seeds that God planted there for a reason, and you can either water them or let them die, but it's all up to you. So
100%, dude. I love it. I love it, man. Well, I think that's an awesome way to wrap up too, dude. But again, thank you so much, Kade, for sharing the very first ever bear hunting story on the Prayin and Slayin podcast. Hoping to get more bear hunters on here, but way to kick it off, dude. And thank you so much for saying "rip" on air. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for thanks for having me on here. So it was a blast. So I love getting to know new people, and yeah, any knowledge that anybody that can pull out of this freaking take it and use it. So
let her rip, baby. 100%.
Yeah, we'll go out for a rip, bud.
Yep. I'm gonna head out for a rip. All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much again for coming on, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
Awesome. We'll see you later.
All right, brother. See ya.
Well, there you have it, guys. That was Kade Davis, Canadian turned Montanan, and what an awesome guy, man. Such a humble dude, and he left us with a Humble and Kind from Tim McGraw. Actually, the song Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw is his Something Good. And, you know, we actually had a lot of verses and a lot of closeouts here on the podcast about being humble, not being afraid to, you know, humble yourself, go up and knock on a door to ask permission, or just being humble, you know, to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward in the world, and not getting your head over your heels or your head over your skates to where God has to knock you down and re-humble you, because that's what he'll do if we get outside that box. And so we're going to go a little bit different direction today, because this was an awesome bear hunting story, man. And one of the things I kept thinking about during Kade's story was when you bear hunt, especially if you're spot and stalking and you're sitting across a canyon and glassing a mountainside, every little dark shadow you see is a bear, until all of a sudden an actual bear shows up, and then everything that looked like a bear just all of a sudden seems a little bit silly because you saw the real thing. And there's just something unmistakable about when you actually lay eyes on a bear. Your heart will skip a beat, your brain and your eyes, they just know, like, that right there is a bear. And the verse that I think relates to this so much is Hebrews 5:14, and it says, "But solid food is for the mature, for those who have their powers of discernment trained by constant practice to distinguish good from evil." And the whole verse is about just being able to go through repetitions in life and analyze every person you meet, every situation you get put into, everything someone says. Basically judge people and judge things by the fruit of what they're producing. And going through those constant repetitions is really the only way to build that muscle in ourselves, to really discern what's good from evil, discern what's true from a lie, or what's true from partially true, and all those different things. And in today's day and age, man, gosh, I think I'm preaching to the choir here, just talking about how crazy our world is, especially here in the States. And, you know, we really don't know what the left is from the right, and what's gray and what's black and white, and everything's blurred, and we don't know what's true or untrue. But being able to just shut the social media off, shut your news stations off, and get back to the roots of who you are is important. And then go through reps, man. Like, analyze everything you've ever had going on, or analyze the news source that you're doing. Do your own research on things. And really, the only way you're ever going to figure out the truth from what's not true is by going through those reps. And that's super important. And it's ultra true in the bear woods, man. You're going to know what a bear is when you see a bear. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the movement that finally catches your eye, because tree stumps don't move. Bears that are tree stumps do. So get out there, go chase some cool critters, man. And elk season's almost here, man. These episodes are launching here in August. And if you have not checked them out yet, go check out Puck Outdoors. And we actually have some Prayin and Slayin Network custom pucks. And these things are awesome. They're basically a hockey puck that you unscrew the lid off of, and they hold your elk hunting reeds. They hold your turkey hunting reeds. And we've got some custom ones on the Prayin and Slayin website, and all the purchases of those obviously go to our License to Kill initiative that sponsor veteran hunting licenses across the United States. So be sure to go check those out at prayinandslayin.com or lighttofireoutdoors.com. They're hosted there as well. And yeah, get your reeds protected, man. If you're heading out west this fall, make sure you've got your reeds protected with a puck, and a custom puck from Prayin and Slayin is an awesome way to do that. And then, of course, thank you, Dead Nuts Outdoors, man. We've been slinging so many arrows at our Dead Nuts Outdoors products and targets. We've got a whole new lineup of a bison, a caribou, a mountain lion, the Conservation Series targets. We keep ordering those, and just an awesome thing. So thank you to those partners out there. And, of course, if you're a saddle hunter, go check out the knee bag and save your knees from the trees by getting you a knee bag this season. It will save your life, and it'll keep you in the tree longer. But, guys, I'm pumped. All I can think about is bear hunting. I think I'm going to go shoot my Dead Nuts Black Bear Conservation Series target for the American Bear Foundation right now, because I'm fired up. bears are awesome, and they're on my bucket list and at the top of my bucket list probably at this point. So Kade, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, brother. You hail from the great state of Montana. It will forever have a piece of our hearts here at the Stonehawker household. And guys, go do something awesome for somebody today. Make sure if you see something, you always check it against what you know to be true in your heart, and keep praying and slaying.